And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Olivet College. We are on the campus here at the Cutler Athletic Complex this afternoon. Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy here for the Britain Sports Network on a rainy Saturday afternoon. And Jimmy, if you take a look at the everything that you see that the weatherman's pushing down right now, it looks like it's going to be a rainy day of football here in Olivet.
Yep, and that's one of the things that we talked about on the ride-up, Jim, is as long as it's just rain and no thunder and lightning, then we'll get a full day of football in without any unnecessary delays. And it's like you said, definitely a soggy day out there. However, this is field turf and not grass and mud, so we're not going to get quite that old school football feel, but the rain definitely will have an impact on the game.
This is a situation to me where you come in and you hope to get some things turned around and some things fixed. If you are the Britons here today, it is kind of an off track. You never can tell what's going to happen on a track like today. But if you take a look at the Comets, one of the things that's a little troubling and a little worrisome starts right in the offensive backfield with the young fellow that's going to be calling the numbers here this afternoon, as they are going to run a quarterback out named Lane Porter, who is 6'5", 250 pounds, out of Lansing Everett High School. And he is a big fella to pull down on a wet Saturday afternoon.
Last week, 23 of 32 for 361 yards. Definitely had his way against Kalamazoo. And they had 468 yards of total offense. Certainly didn't hurt the cause that the defense scored a couple of touchdowns as well. However, 6'5", 2 bills and change. Definitely a tough guy to bring down. And the Britons being a little bit undersized on defense, even if they throw a blitz, you're going to have to probably get two guys to bring him down.
Well, he played behind Braden Black for a couple of years, very similar to what Chad Hamilton did for us last year. This young fellow was actually recruited to Bowling Green State University, a D1 school down in Ohio from around where we're from, but did not eventually end up there and ended up here because, as we said, his hometown is Lansing, so he's just around the block from family and friends. And they gave him the opportunity to come in here and compete at a couple different positions, possibly. Ended up being that backup quarterback, ended up being the heir apparent to Braden Black, who one of the best quarterbacks that they've had here for years and years and years, and now finds himself in the middle of everything at the controls of this football team. And it's a football team that came in this year being ranked number 2 by the coaches' preseason poll. They thought Olivet was going to be the second best team in the conference. So far, they started the year at 3-2. They're 1-1 in the conference. They're 1-2 at home, and they're 2-away at 2-0 on the road. So we hope that maybe their home problems will continue this afternoon as the Britons trying to grab a road win here on a rainy day in Olivet.
And you look at the crowd, because of the weather, neither side bleachers are going to be all that well attended on a day like today. So when you have essentially, it's a road game for the Britons, but if the home team doesn't really pack the stands, it almost becomes a neutral site game at that point. And it certainly takes the pressure off for Coach Rundle and his bunch. They definitely want to forget last week in a hurry and move on to Olivet.
Well, it was a difficult week for the coach and his guys, I'm sure, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But as we take a look at the rest of that offense for Olivet here this afternoon, one thing to point out, Cornelius Saxton, one of their very fine receivers, 5'10", 190-pounder out of Ann Arbor Skyline, is just 72 yards away, Jimmy, from becoming the all-time leader in receiving here at Olivet. And he's already this year gotten the career record for the number of catches here at the college. He just needs 72 yards to be able to have the most yards amassed as a receiver here at Olivet. If that doesn't come today, obviously plenty of games left in this year for that young fellow to take over the number 1 spot.
And he racked up 166 yards receiving last week, so even if he has half as good as he did the entire game last week at Kalamazoo, he should be able to attain that record. But, again, excellent wide receiver. No doubt he's going to set and extend that record. It's going to be tough to beat.
41 catches on the year for him, 555 yards, averaging about 13.5 a catch, 4 touchdowns, has a long of 81 yards, and he is going to be a handful for our secondary today to be able to take care of. When it comes to the running game, it's Jerome Washington. He's a 6-footer, 230-pound senior. Of all places, he's from the Albion area, went to Marshall High School, and the senior has 98 runs here this year for 396 yards. He's averaging 4 yards per tote, 3 touchdowns along a 55. Fumbled the ball a couple of times, but has not lost them, and that's probably going to be critical today.
And he's the only one who really is going to get him to any yards on the ground, at least statistically speaking. Lane Porter, the second leading rusher on the team. Actually Cornelius Saxton, if you take away the losses, 42 yards on the season. Porter, 40 net yards on the season. Matthew Ellis also has 30. So you have some of the other players getting some decent yards, average yards per carry, but again, very limited number of touches. In Saxon's case, probably end around or jet sweep or something like that. But there's no doubt that you should see a steady dose of Jerome Washington today, and the Britons are definitely going to need to be much more stout against the run. With a day like today, you'd think you're not going to put it up as much. Leave it to chance. You're going to probably play a ground and pound kind of game. So the Britons are going to have to play much better run defense.
Offensively, the Comets average 352 yards of total offense on a Saturday afternoon. 99 of them come on the ground, 253 of them through the air, and you're right, it'll be interesting to see how they do here this year. They opened up the season this year losing to Heidelberg 40-24. Then they had a win over Elmhurst 26-20, a win over Aurora 37-21. They lost to Hope 42-20, and then they come off, as Jim said, a big win last week at Kalamazoo 40-6. Their head coach last year, Dan Pfeiffer, who had come over from Trine, left here before the season started and went to Walsh University, which is over in the Cleveland area. He was here for 5 years. He was 33-23, and a situation where he came in with a team that was really having troubles. His very first year, they went over. Then he went 6-4 2 years in a row, and 13-14, and was 9-1 the last 2 years. Tied for the MIAA championship, and there are folks around this press box right now sporting that conference championship ring on one hand, and it's probably an impressive situation. But Pfeiffer took a hike before the season started and headed over to Walsh College.
And now you have a new coach, Dan Masilowitz, his first year. Served as 5 seasons as the offensive coordinator prior to this. And from 06 to 11, he was also the wide receiver coach at Trine. And as we had talked about prior to the game with some folks here, there's quite a connection with Trine here at Olivet. And as we saw last week, Trine a pretty darn good football program, especially this season. And so, they're looking to bring some of that good fortune up here. And at least when you look at this season so far, pretty good start for the new head coach.
On the defensive side of the football for Olivet today, they allow 337 yards per game, 131 of them on the ground, 206 of them through the air, and allow about 26 points per game. Warren Maloney is their defensive coordinator, Jim, and he's an 83 grad from Franklin College, which we used to cover in the HCAC back in the day. And he actually played for the infamous Red Fott, who is basically the name on the building down at Franklin College when you go down and watch them play football. And Red Fott, a long-time football coach in D3. When you look at the players that they have, last week it was kind of an interesting situation. They had 2 defensive touchdowns scored last week. Chase Chavrick and Tyler Douglas both rumbled one into the house. In the case of Chavrick, basically it was his first recovered touchdown in the end zone. Both of them basically their very first time. And the one that I would have loved to seen, Jimmy, because when you look at Chavrick, he's a junior, 5'11", 215. He basically scooped one up on the 1 or 2 yard line and just walked into the end zone. But the other fella, Tyler Douglas, is 6'3" and 340 pounds, and he went 15 yards with that rock. And they said up here that there really was nobody around him.
And if you go to Olivet's site and you look up the story part instead of the box score from last week's game, I actually have the printout here in my book. And that's the still they chose to put just under the box score. And so you can only imagine when that young man got that scoop and score how nobody was gonna stop that young man from going 15 yards to the house. But I certainly wouldn't want to try to be the one to tackle him.
His number is 58. His name is Tyler Douglas. And then obviously the number 1 player on this team is Walter Love III. He's their number 1 tackler. He is a senior. He is 6 foot, 190 pounds, and basically a very solid and active defensive back here for the Olivet Comets here this afternoon. So that is our opponent today. That is the task that we have at hand. That and battling a rainy, wet football and field all afternoon. And rain showers are going to move in and out in varying degrees of intensity. Right now it's not all that bad, just a nice sprinkle. Umbrellas are up. People are dressed with all of their appropriate gear. The band's out on the field with their slickers on right now doing their pregame show. And so it's nothing that anybody has ever been afraid of at this point in time. But you know what? The weatherman does say that there might be some spots this afternoon where this rain comes down a little bit harder, and that will be the interesting part of the day. For the Brits today, they come in at 1-4 overall, 0-2 in the conference, and they have their work cut out for them as they had a real tough afternoon last week against Trine, and it was just an ugly day of football for us, Jimmy.
Yeah, first half, 49-7 going into the break, 21 points in the first quarter, and then 28-0 shutout in quarter number 2 for the Thunder. And then the Britons did outscore Trine 14-7 in the second half. But by then, the game was far out of hand for a 56-21. It was a long day.
Yeah.
It was a long, tough day, and I'm sure that the players wanted to forget that one pretty well as soon as it was over.
Well, you know, when you start looking at numbers like 535 total yards of offense on the afternoon, 50 runs for 348 yards, and 8 passes for 187 yards. You know, Evan Wise had a really good afternoon. He was 5 for 6 with 3 touchdowns and 172 of those yards throwing. One of them a 77-yarder. And Lamar Carswell last week, 10 carries, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. And that's 2 weeks in a row that the smaller, quicker back has really burned this defense, Jim.
Yeah, and they used the run to kind of set up the run. And then once you finally bit on the run, they hit them with the big play-action pass play. So, you know, again, it's you're going to have to start with playing good run defense.
Time for the national anthem. We will step away and head down on the field for the national anthem. When we get back, we'll get you starting lineups, get you ready for the kick. We're about 10 minutes away from football here on the Britain Sports Network.
Your hand over your heart, face the flag, as the Olivet College Marching Band plays our national anthem.
And there you have it, as we're getting close to kickoff here today. For the Britons, they get here, as we said, at 0-2 in the conference and 1-4 overall. And you go back on the schedule. The one big win, Jim, the win over Concordia at 79-7. But you have a loss at Stevens Point, 33-19. A tough loss at Wabash, 35-26 to open everything up. So that was a difficult one. And then I think the one that was also difficult was the last game that we did on the road on a radio-only game, which is that Adrian game, which really with a couple of things here or there, a couple of breaks here or there, that could have very easily been a 2-point win instead of a 2-point loss.
Up 34-32, and Adrian College stormed back in the second half, had a tremendous second half of football. The Britons pretty much in control for a majority of that game, however, just could not close the deal, and that was a tough loss. It was homecoming. It was an early homecoming for the Bulldogs, all because of how their schedule shook out. They had, I believe, 2 road games after that, so they kind of had to do an early homecoming. and a beautiful night for football. And, again, that's a game that I think Coach Rono will look back at and say, he had that one, really let that one slip away.
Yeah, and because of that, now you're still winless in the conference, and you're coming into Olivet, which is a very tough spot to be, and trying to win this one here. So it's going to be an interesting afternoon of football. The Brits come in on offense with a total of 420 yards of offense on average on a Saturday afternoon. 265 of those from the air, 155 of them on the ground. The thing that's a little scary at times, they average just 22 minutes of time of possession on a Saturday afternoon. They've had 7 interceptions. They've had 5 fumbles. They've only lost 2 of them, but too many turnovers have caused too many losses here on a Saturday afternoon for the Brits. Kyle Thomas, the freshman quarterback, we're not sure whether Kyle will start this afternoon, but we do expect that to happen. The 5'11", 180-pound freshman comes in here, the red shirt out of Findlay, and he is 69 for 125 for 1,013 yards already this year. He's got 8 touchdowns, but he's got 5 interceptions. Thrown along at 78 yards, hits 56% of his passes thrown, and comes in with a quarterback rating of 136.4. Now, he also runs the football, and I think at this point in time, that's the thing that he has to learn how to deal with, how to work with both sides of the ball right now. He's toted the ball 47 times for 255 yards, averaging just over 5 yards a run. Has a 44-yard long run on the season, couple touchdowns, but 3 fumbles, and they were all lost. And I think the young fella, as he gets a little more experience, a little more time under the controls, he'll probably run a few less times and maybe find a wide-open receiver after this slows down just a little bit for him.
Part of it is developing that trust and communication with the wide receivers, running backs, and the tight ends. But part of it also, you mentioned the 5 interceptions. It's how he gets those 5 interceptions. There have been at least 2 or 3 to immediate recollection where they were throwaways, and he didn't throw them far enough away. He was trying to make a play, especially a couple throws to the sideline. I can recall, I think, at least one last week where he was rolling, just threw an ill-advised pass towards the sideline, and it was easily intercepted. There wasn't even a receiver in the area. And so, again, if you're going to throw it away, you really have to commit to throwing it away. And as a mobile quarterback, you think you can outrun a linebacker, and you should be able to make a play against a defensive tackle or defensive end. But again, those are plays when you're 7-8 yards behind the line of scrimmage and you're scrambling. Just get outside the box and throw it away. Don't take the loss. Live to fight the next down.
If he does not start here this afternoon, then we would expect number 17, Sam Blanzy, might be the young fellow that gets the call today, the junior out of Grosse Point Park, and 23 for 42 for 306 yards on the season right now. A couple touchdowns, a couple interceptions, a long of 46, and he has run 6 times for 7 yards here. On the offensive side of the football, one of the things that I'm also going to be interested in today is whether Marlon Martin, number 4, is going to be in the ball game. Martin injured a leg in that ball game last week, did not come back in the second half and play football. The 6'1", 178-pound sophomore out of Monroe, Michigan, has 11 catches on the year for 226 yards. He's averaging 20.5 yards per catch. He's got 3 touchdowns, and he's the young guy with the 78-yard touchdown catch. He's also one of the better return guys on this team, and I hope that this afternoon Marlon is healed up and ready to play.
And if Marlon is not able to play, he is really your big threat receiver. So you'd expect to see Zarnecki returning the kicks and possibly the punts as well. So he's going to be a dual, triple threat kind of guy if Martin isn't able to go.
Sean Koski having a pretty good year so far, 18 catches for 291 yards, 16.2 yards per catch, a touchdown. He's got a 46-yarder as his long catch. As we look down at the field, both the teams are on the field right now for the coin toss. Rain still coming down here, but it's a light rain right now. The Brits are in their white road uniforms with their gold helmets, and they have the purple trim on the jerseys. So we have a decision here right now. And as we look down on the field, Olivet will get the ball as the Britons got the toss and they deferred. Is that what I heard, Jim?
I think that Olivet got the toss and they deferred, so the Britons should get the opening kickoff. If you're on your radio dial, I believe the Britons will be going right to left. And we are just about ready to tee this one up and get it underway.
Well, we'll see what happens here this afternoon for the Britons and the Comets on a wet Saturday afternoon of football here in Michigan. The home team in their reds, red pants, red jerseys, white numbers, white helmets, red trim here this afternoon, with the big OC in the middle of the football field. And the Britons come out.
And I actually have a correction, Jim. Britons are going to be kicking off.
That's what I thought I saw. Yeah. I think the Britons won the toss and deferred to the second half.
I saw the defer, and I looked at my brain went the wrong direction.
No problem. That's just standing next to me. That's where the problems run into play here for you.
I'm assimilating.
Yes, you are assimilating. It'll be interesting to see how this all works this afternoon on this rainy turf. Number 9 is John Adams. Number 21 is Jamal Martin, and they go back deep. They're inside the 10-yard line. It'll be Adams up on the top of the screen, basically on the visitor's side, and on the bottom side will be Martin. Martin averages 21.5 yards per return, and Adams 36.6 with a long of 99 yards, and he's taken that one. That one went back to the house. Fabry lines it up, ready to kick this thing. 15 minutes on the scoreboard. We're ready to play football. Glad to have you with us here on the Brits Football Network. Kick will go down, and it's going to be picked up by Martin. And Martin, up the center of the football field, breaks a tackle, and he's on his feet at the 40. He's at the midfield stripe, heading towards the visitor sideline, and it'll get dumped out of bounds inside Albion territory. And just like that, the Comets will open up on the 45-yard line of the Britons.
An interesting thing on that kickoff right there, usually you see the return team, they're about 10, 12 yards away, and they'll play kind of a guard position ready to pick up. You had 2 or 3 Comets actually charge towards the Britons to initiate contact. Interesting strategy, and kind of threw them off a little bit.
45-yard return. We've got it unofficially on that first return, and the ball sets on the 45-yard line now of the Britons. First down and 10. As we said, Lane Porter, the quarterback, 6 foot 5 inches tall, 250 pounds.
Has a knee brace on his left knee. Don't think that's going to slow him down, though.
He sends a receiver to the top and a receiver to the bottom right at this point in time. One on either side. He's got a running back basically off to his left at a flanker spot, and he sends in motion Matthew Ellis, and they turn and hand the football off to Jerome Washington. Washington goes off left tackle. He's across the 40-yard line to the 39-yard line. A nice 6-yard pick. So if that's going to be a steady diet of this afternoon, that's going to be a little bit difficult.
Good pick up on first down. Defense going to need to adjust. Still a 3-man front for the Brits.
Sean Cubitt-Miller, the young guy that made the tackle for the Britons on that one. Again, a receiver on both sides, and they send one in motion. They fake the jet sweep. They go right back to that running back, and he's got plenty of room as he heads off the left tackle and across the 30 and inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line.
Got a flag on the play. This one's coming back. Penalty marker holding against the Comets. Flag marked at the 40-yard line, so that'll push them presumably all the way back to midfield.
And we have a penalty marker on the play.
We'll see the culprit of the penalty momentarily. But again, the flag marked at the 40, and they'll go 10 yards back to midfield.
So a holding call against Olivet after a nice run that would have been enough for a first down. Moves them back now, as Jim said.
About the 49, so about a 2nd and 14 now.
You got a number 2 out there, Noah McKinn, who is there. Was out on those first couple plays that I did not have on my 2 deeps at that point in time, so I was looking.
I'll help you out with the longer roster. Again, the home team in D3, for those of you who aren't as familiar, typically a lot of players.
Pistol look now, this time double receivers both sides, single running back in the backfield. This will be the first throw of the day, and it's completed inside the 45, close to the 41-yard line.
And you see again that trend, Jim. You had a quick out right there, but it's you stick, and then they're not wrapping, so he's able to actually fall forward for an extra couple yards on there. When you stick, you should be able to stop him right where he is.
Saxton was the young fellow that made the catch, so that was a nice pickup, which sets them up now 3rd down at 6 at the 41-yard line. First drive of the afternoon just underway here in Olivet. Great to have you with us here. Triples here on the home side. Single receiver to the top. One running back in the backfield. That is Martin. He's to the right of the quarterback, Porter. and he drops and looks to throw to Martin. Screen pass. Martin has it, but
Well
there's Brits all around him. And a nice job there by Sean Kubit Miller to see that one coming, made the tackle. He'll actually lose a yard or two, and it'll set up a 4th down now, and we'll have to see if they're going to keep the offense on the field.
Yep, too far to kick, too close to punt, so it looks like the Comets are...
They're going to punt.
Now they're...
I'll tell you
they
what,
waited.
Lane Porter was out there lobbying his coach, and at the very last second with the football on the 41-yard line of the Britons, they decided that it was time to kick this one away.
Well, again, you look at last week's game for Olivet, only 7-3 at halftime, so obviously the defense was doing a pretty good job. And if you're playing the field position game with the inclement weather, you figure you should be able to pin him inside the 15 here.
Apper is the guy that's going to kick. He gets the ball at his 45, angles it towards the right sideline, and it'll be caught there at the 10-yard line by Jordan Carter with the fair catch, and the Brits will have the football 89 yards away from their goal line as they mark it down on the 11.
And I think that's, in the long run, you're going to find that that's sound football. Yeah, 4th and 5, 4th and 6. Not the end of the world if you don't get it, but if you're playing the field position game with this kind of weather, I think playing it safe this possession and then seeing if you can force the Brits to a 3-and-out should get you even better field position next time.
Brits will start with Thomas at quarterback here today, and he has Zarnecki to his right. Triples go to the top single receiver here on the home side, which is the short side of the field. Pistol look. Thomas fakes to Zarnecki. Then he calls his own number straight up the middle of the field. Breaks loose. He's at the 20, 22, 23, 24-yard line. So a nice job by Kyle Thomas to just delay long enough to watch that hole open. He gets the first down, and the Brits again right back at that line of scrimmage.
Almost looked like a busted play. Looked like he was going play action right there, but the running back wasn't near him to do the play action, so he had to kind of tuck it and run.
2 on both sides right now. Wide receivers. They'll hand to Zarnecki this time. He'll try left guard, and he runs into a wall of red as he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and I don't think he got much more.
3 or 4 guys on the stop right there. We'll probably give that one to number 58, Tyler Douglas. Came up at the end of the bottom of the pile there. So you had about 3 guys on the stop.
Brits again right here ready to attack. They've got double wide receivers to the top. They'll turn, fake to Zarnecki. Here comes the blitz. The toss is out, and it's caught at the 32-yard line.
2 yards short of the first down as Tyler Sykes gets that one.
And Sykes is a guy who's somewhat gotten a little bit lost in this thing. Last year had a really good year, and this year having a pretty good year as well. So Sykes with the catch, 3rd down and 1. Britons on the 32-yard line, their own. Thomas going to keep it. He'll be around the right end. He's got room. He's on his feet. He's at midfield. He's at the 40. Can he outrun everybody? He's at the 20. Cuts it towards the visitor sideline and to be run out of bounds down inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line.
So bad tackling plaguing the Comets right there, Jim. Again, a 3rd and short. You figure the mobile quarterback is probably going to call his own number, as Zarnecki got swallowed up a couple of plays ago. And this time he goes just off right tackle and almost takes it to the house.
So the Brits are in business. They have the football inside their 10 at the 7-yard line right at this moment. And they will check in Zach Kitka into the lineup at the very last second.
Can't really run a no-huddle when you only have the 10 guys out there. As they're showing the same power look that the Comets showed on their last possession, Jim.
They'll put Kitka there on the wing on the left side. Zarnecki to the left of Thomas in the pistol look in the backfield. Double wide receivers on the long side. That's the home side. And they'll fake the ball to Zarnecki, throw it in the corner and through the hands and incomplete, as that ball was intended, I believe, for Zuber. Now that was, who was that out there? Koski, maybe?
I think it was Koski.
Yep, that was number 9.
I believe that was 9 on 9, and that was John Adams III on coverage right there, Jim.
Had to take, so it's 2nd down now and goal as that one goes incomplete to the right corner of the end zone. Pistol look again. Zarnecki to the left. This time they will hand it to Pat, and Pat will push behind that offensive line inside the 4 down to about the 4 or 3.5. Yep. Ball came out late, but it was whistled dead long before it came out. And the ball will now be spotted at about the 4-yard line, I think is where they're. In fact, they're going to say his forward progress was stopped at the 5. So it'll be 3rd down and goal at the 5, and the Brits wasting no time again as they move people in and out. Colin Poore back in the lineup, and he'll go in with the triples on the home side here. Single receiver to the top, Zarnecki to the right of the quarterback, Thomas in the pistol. Ball on the 5. Thomas drops. Here comes the rush. He'll roll to his left and throw, and it's short. Man, he had Colin Poore at the goal line with nobody on him, but he short-armed it a little bit, and it skipped into his knees right there at the goal line.
I think at the last second he might have also seen Javon Walker, number 4, making a break on that ball. So it's probably just as well that that one fell incomplete. Nobody had a shot at it.
So it will be 4th down now, and the Britons will try a field goal. And this will be a short one from the 12-yard line. Fabry has it up, and it's good. And just like that, the Britons score first here this afternoon after a decent defensive stand by the Britons defense. They take it all the way back 89 yards is basically the length of that drive. And they take it down for the first score of the afternoon. Brits up now 3-0 here on the Britons scoreboard.
And when you look at where that drive started and what they had to do to get there, you have to be encouraged by the fact that they were able to break a couple of really good runs by Thomas, and also that they were able to cash in. Usually with this kind of weather, I hate to keep beating this horse, but when it's this kind of weather, you usually don't expect a long 90-yard drive like that. And the Britons were, I think they're happy with just putting some points on the board with that first drive.
So the Britons will kick off again to the Olivet Comets with 9.5 minutes to play here in this opening quarter. Both teams were able to move the football a little bit. The Olivet drive stalled out just a little bit, and they had to give the football back.
So this time the Comets did not approach. Ooh,
nice long kick that was right to Jamal Martin. He scooped it in on the 11-yard line, and he was heading towards the sideline. His third step was out of bounds.
Yep.
So he walked out of bounds at about the 11. It'll be 1st down and 10 there for the Olivet Comets.
And think where he was when he caught that ball, Jim. 10-yard line, you got to figure that one tailing that way is probably going to roll out of bounds. Just cost himself probably about 15 yards right there.
22-yard field goal for Fabry. The drive was 8 plays, 84 yards, took 2 minutes and 56 seconds off the clock. Brits would have liked to have 7, but instead they do have 3 in the first score here of the afternoon. Comets bring Lane Porter out. He again in that pistol look. Running back to his right is Jerome Washington, and he'll drop and look to pass. He head fakes and throws, and he's got a guy wide open. Ooh. Hit him right in the worst spot, right in the hands. That was Jacob Jodway, and if Jodway pulls that one in, there is no one between him and the goal line. That was a 90-yard touchdown catch.
Yep. Talk about a DB biting on a pump fake right there. That was a great pump fake, and they took that one hook, line, and sinker.
Porter with the fake, then the head fake, then the pump fake, and the next thing you know, he had every defensive back 10 yards farther up the field than where Jodway was, and they were heading in the wrong direction.
Quick score update. Trine at home against Kalamazoo. Scoreless so far, 9:13 to play, quarter number 1. The only other MIAA game going on right now, Alma's at Aurora at 2 p.m., and then Adrian is at Hope at 4. We have a penalty. Ball start.
And I didn't see the signal, but it is a 5-yard, must have been a false start substitution.
Legal substitution.
There you go. Well, they had 2 guys coming off the sideline at the very last second, so there were at one time about 13 red shirts on that field. Again, go back to the backfield. Jerome Washington in the backfield, the only back, and they go under center now as Porter turns and hands it to Washington. He'll try the right side. Gets an initial push for about a yard, and the Britons then collapse on him there at about the 6. He might have gotten the 7, but that's all.
You got to wonder, again, with a day like today, I think the Britons are probably tired of hearing about how they're not playing as well against the run. So maybe a day like today is the kind of day where you maybe turn the corner and you decide, you know what, I'm tired of getting ran on. Today's the day we're going to stiffen up as a defense and start making a little more noise on the defensive line.
Austin Lynn and Hunter Shaw were the 2 guys on the Brits at that point to make that stop. Doubles to the top and the bottom now as the Comets have the football on the 7-yard line.
Seems like an obvious passing down.
Porter drops into his end zone, looking to throw this one right across the middle, and he's got a guy again open. This time it's caught at the 50, 40, 30-foot range, 10, 5, and he's in. Wow. 87 yards, and you would think that you would have just been able to figure out the number 25 can get you behind you, and they let him get behind him a second time. Jodway takes it to the house. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what.
13 from 4 to the 5-yard line right there, Jim. I'd love to have seen them play almost a prevent defense right there.
They're calling that one 92 yards up here in the booth at this point in time, but you're right. They were down on the 7 or 8 yard line, and Jodway, he was open twice, and how you allow that young fellow to be that wide open 2 times on that same drive is beyond me, but I'm sure that's something the coaching staff is going to work with on the sideline after that defensive set. So it's 6-3 Olivet, bad snap, balls on the ground, and they're not going to be able to pick it up and get it done as the Brits make a nice job. Richard Anaroth, the first guy in there. So the extra point will be no good, and with that, the 92-yard touchdown catch by Jodway puts the Olivet Comets up by 3, 6-3.
Looking at total yardage so far, Jim, thanks to that last pass, 107-84 advantage Olivet. 99, of course, through the air. Only 9 yards passing for the Brits. However, they found a lot of success on the ground. They have 75 on the ground compared to 8 yards for the Comets. So basically just a couple of big plays. One for the Comets went all the way to the end zone. The one for the Britons was stopped just inside the red zone.
Well, and you know, the frustrating part of that whole thing, as we said, you know, Jodway was open earlier in that set, had the ball hit him right in the hands and dropped it. That one led him just perfectly. He pulled that one in around the 45-yard line, and at that point in time, there was nobody really that had a chance to pull him down.
And there was no head fake or pump fake in that one.
Nope.
That was just a straight fly pattern.
So the Brits will send a couple back to return this kick. Jordan Carter is actually up on the visitor side now at the 5-yard line, and Zarnecki at the 5 on the home side. They'll kick the ball to Carter, and he'll take a step up and field it at the 6, to the 10, to the 20, heading up the visitor sideline and wrestled down at about the 24-yard line. So Brits will have decent field position, especially compared to the last opportunity they had to try to answer that score.
Good special teams tackle by Austin Sadler, 37 out of Olivet.
There you go.
Hometown guy.
8:16 to play here in the first quarter. Here on the Britain's Radio Network here today, or Britain Sports Network.
All the above.
6-3 Olivet at this point in time. Both teams now with the score. Olivet has had the football twice so far this afternoon. This will be the Britain's second opportunity. And they'll come with triples here on the home side. That's the wide side of the field. Single receiver to the top. Zarnecki in the backfield to the left of Thomas, who's in the pistol look. He'll fake it and throw it. And he's got a completion to Brian Blanzy, a short pickup out across the 27-yard line. They'll mark him at the 28. Give him about 4 on first down, set up a 2nd down and 6.
Makes you wonder if they're not using the pass to set up the run. Those short passes probably just far enough so that you can't keep the DBs and the linebackers from creeping up to the line of scrimmage.
Martin is the wide receiver here on the home side. That's good to see. Marlin here on the short side of the field. They turn hand to Pat Zarnecki. He breaks through the first tackle, gets through the line of scrimmage and all the traffic there, and is out to about the 33-yard line. He'll be just short of that first down. It'll set up 3rd down, and we'll call it a long one. 7:34 with the clock moving here in quarter number 1. The rain coming down kind of steady, but nothing severe at this moment. We can leave it right here. It'll be a perfect afternoon for football. Triples go to the top. Martin, the only receivers right in front of us on the short side here on the home side. Zarnecki to the right. They'll fake it to him. Thomas going to look to keep it. He dances in the backfield to get around a couple of red shirts and then squirts up through a hole on the right side for the first down as he crosses the 35 to about the 36. That'll be just enough for the first down. We move the chains.
Incredible patience by Thomas right there, Jim, in the face of a serious rush. Pocket was collapsing, but he was able to, as you said, dance and step just a little bit. Moved to his right, squirted through the hole, and got the first down.
Poor and Martin, the receivers here on this side. Poor in the slot. Martin wide out. Zarnecki again left of Thomas in the backfield, and they will hand it to Pat. He'll try the right side, but this time there's no running room as he runs right into Chase Chavrick, and Chavrick will drop him for no gain pretty much at the line of scrimmage.
Mo Young, number 1, also helped to clean up the junior linebacker at Ipsy. So good run defense on that play, and that one looked a little tough. The quarterback running back exchange, not the smoothest, but you'll have that with this weather.
Martin checks in, and Sykes checks out, and Sykes checks back in. Thomas going to drop right away and throw. Looking. Now the pocket collapses, and he'll go down for a loss inside the 35 at the 33-yard line. 95, Matthew Hall, the young guy that was putting the pressure on Kyle Thomas. Nobody open in the secondary. That brings up a third down now at about 13.
Hall only a sophomore right there, but showed his strength. Stood up the offensive lineman and wasn't letting Kyle Thomas get out of the pocket.
Winchell, Poore, and Sykes, the three receivers on the home side. Single guy up on the top. Zarnecki again to the left of Thomas in the pistol look. Looks like a blitz is coming from right up the middle of the football field. Fake the ball to Zarnecki. Thomas rolls to his left, throws back across his body, and I'll tell you what, that one looked like might have been an interference or a holding call. Koski asking for one right now. 9 on 9. John Adams the third and Koski, and finally we do have a flag sitting out there at the 49-yard line. And I think well thought through and well decided if they do call this either interference or holding.
I'm going to guess defensive holding, Jim.
Number 9, John Adams the third.
We'll see. Either way, it's going to be a first down.
So they'll head back to the 32-yard line, and I think they're going to call this pass interference.
No, they're calling defensive holding.
Defensive holding, they'll go 5.
But it's an automatic first down, so that'll move the chains on a 3rd and long. Good job by Thomas there, keeping the play alive. Last play, however, again, trying to keep it alive. You have to know that clock internally in your head. After a certain amount of time, you know when the pocket's going to collapse, you're going to have to get rid of the ball.
Triples go to the top now, doubles to the bottom. Single running back in the backfield. Thomas running for his life. He's running towards the home sideline. He gets rid of the football. It's completed across midfield. That's Blanzy, his outlet receiver. He's in Olivet territory at about the 48, and Thomas is on the turf back around the 38-yard line.
And a flag on the play at about the 47. We'll see if this is maybe an ineligible man downfield.
Penalty marker on the field.
Nice job by Thomas here so far tonight, but he's kind of limping at this point after that last hit.
That was a serious hit outside the pocket.
Thomas at 5'11" and 180 pounds. Yep.
66 will be Travis Myrick, the senior. And again, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
No, at that point in time, you're expecting Thomas to take off running, and then you're probably blocking, and wherever you are on the field is where you're blocking. So,
and if you're not downfield blocking when he's running, then you're going to say, why weren't you down blocking for me?
So the officials come in and stop everything as they reset the football inside the 40. And now they pick it back up. They're going for a dry ball, it looks like right now.
I want to say hi to Dick Ritter, class of 66 from Perrysburg. Mr. Ritter, thanks for tuning in. The road broadcasts this season are going to be audio only, so we appreciate you tuning in to the Britain's Football Network. And the home games are full audio and video. Road games so far are going to be audio only, Jim.
5:20 to play here in this football game. Again, single running back in the backfield. Olivet's offsides. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. I guess they were trying to time that blitz up a little bit, but Ray Theo Cornish kind of jumped off over the line of scrimmage, and he was deep enough in the backfield that there was no going back. He was 2 steps in our backfield when the flags came out.
Unabated.
So we'll get the 5 yards back that we just gave up a minute ago, and it'll be first down and 10 again.
Football is about the only sport, Jim, where I see so many euphemisms for these penalties.
Yeah.
Offsides is neutral zone infraction, so on and so forth. False start is, this, that, and the other thing.
Sykes and Blanzy here on our side. Blanzy in the slot, doubles again on the top as well. Zarnecki, the back in the right, to the right of the quarterback Thomas, and they'll hand it to Pat. Pat has some room, run right in. He's at midfield before he gets knocked down, but he's still on his feet.
Yep.
He was submarined him. He got out of that block, out of that tackle, and kept the feet moving. Didn't really get any extra yardage. No, mark him right at the 50-yard line, but he was running after I thought he was down.
That was John Adams III, and that's a play, unfortunately, you see the Britons make a lot where you see that stick but no wrap. He just kind of bounced right off that. If you don't wrap up, you're going to keep the legs moving.
Doubles top and bottom here again for the Britons. Single running back, that's Zarnecki to the left of Thomas. He fakes it to him, drops, going to throw. Now he's going to roll in the pocket towards the home sideline. Finds these guys, that's Sykes at the 40. He's at the 35, breaks the tackle, still running at the 32. Nice job by Tyler Sykes to be able to get that football and also make a couple guys miss and get up the field. First down, move the sticks, 4:16 to play opening quarter. Brits are in the roll.
Brits fortunate there was no holding penalty right there as the D lineman started to go to his right, Britton's left, and he had a little bit of the jersey under the shoulder pad right there, but no call.
Sykes all by himself on this side, on the home side, triples to the top. Brits going from the right to the left if you're listening here today. Thomas fakes. Now he'll run straight up the middle of the football field, and he's got trouble. He'll get back to the 30-yard line and maybe inch his way across that 30, but he actually took one step and then saw red shirts coming and started to walk backwards towards them just a little bit. He'll pick up 2 on first down, make it 2nd down and 8 with 3:40 to play in the quarter.
Number 1, big Mo Young, 5'10", 240. That young man is built.
Thomas almost looked like he was going under center. He just went up to talk to the center for a minute, then he came back and stands next to Pat Zarnecki at the 35-yard line. Zarnecki to his left, doubles top, doubles bottom.
Almost jumped off sides again, Jim.
Thomas hands to Zarnecki. Left side, he's got room. Middle of the football field. 10, 5, inside to the 3, and then down there. Pat Zarnecki with a nice little delay run. And he picks up 27 on that carry.
Clock will stop with 3:13 to play. Quarter number 1, 6-3 Comets lead. However, the Britons on the move inside the 5 to the 3 for a 1st and goal.
Zarnecki now with 5 carries. They don't have that one in there. 6 carries now, 41 yards on the afternoon. He's to the left of Thomas. Doubles top, doubles bottom. Ball on the 3-yard line. Brits need to punch it in, and Zarnecki says, why don't you just give it to me and let me take it in.
Easy peasy right there. Goes right up the gut, bounces off a couple of shoulders. Nobody even really gets an arm tackle effort on him, and that one looked really easy for the Brits. Good response score right there.
So the Brits go the length of the football field to put 6 on the board, and they are now up 9-6.
That defensive hold, Jim, on the 3rd and long was a backbreaker penalty for the Comets right there.
It really was, and maybe a game changer for the afternoon. We can only hope. Rain still coming down here. Snaps a little bit high. The placement is good, and Fabry knocks it through. And just like that, the Brits go on top 10-6.
And that'll also now, Jim, adjust the way you potentially handle, your 2-point conversion, extra point kind of deal going forward. Right now it's only a 4-point edge. But again, these kind of things can, tend to snowball as you get farther down in the game.
Neat thing so far, Jimmy. Time of possession has always been a big issue for us. 8.5 minutes of time of possession right now for the Britons to 3 minutes and 40 seconds for the Olivet Comets. Good situation. Brits able to maintain lengthy drives, 2 of them in a row, and 6 first downs already in the afternoon, 1 by the pass, 4 by the rush, 1 by the penalty, and as you said, that might have been the biggest play so far of the afternoon.
Score update from Trine. The Thunder now put 2 scores up on Kazoo. They lead 14-0 with about 3 minutes to play, quarter number 1.
Martin is the young fellow on our side. He's at the 10-yard line with his heels on the 10 and the stripes on the home side. And up on the other side is Adams, and they'll kick it to Martin. Martin heads towards the sideline, picks it at the 15, looks for a block and gets one. He's out to the 30, and then he gets stuck right there.
It was a nice job on the stick and wrap, something that we've been calling for, Jim. That time he lowered the shoulder to get the stick on the legs, and then he wrapped up around the hip so he wasn't able to move. Excellent tackle.
Jordan Carter, the young guy the guy that made the tackle on that one. And both teams kind of go to the sideline for just a minute with 2:42 to play in the opening quarter. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here this afternoon.
If you're looking at the game within the game, Jim, one of the more interesting position people on the field is going to be the I guess we'll call him the ball handler.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Kenny just things dry. That's tough.
Pointed out we've got the lights on here at the stadium as well right now. We got umbrellas up all over the place. Handoff right up the middle of the football field goes Jerome Washington, and Washington picks up about 8, maybe 9 on first down. Nothing fancy. Hand the ball off and head straight up the field.
Yep, but very, very effective, and it's something that has definitely been a challenge for the Britons so far this season.
Jordan Carter was again the young fellow that made the tackle. 2nd down now and 1, 2:14 and counting.
Rodriguez out, Slate's in on the substitution, Jim.
Single back now to the left and a step behind the quarterback, and they will turn again and hand the ball to Washington. He'll go around right end for enough for the first down. across the 40 to about the 44-yard line, so give him 5 on that tote.
You're getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. You just keep doing it till they stop you.
Well, that's the kind of an afternoon this just might be. Rain coming down. Again, it's a little bit harder than what it started, but it's still not that difficult of an afternoon yet.
However, you think back to what the touchdown was.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of good runs and then one nearly completed pass and then another play, basically the same play, went for 6.
Jodway is right out here. He's the single wide receiver here on the home side, and he has number 7, Michael Harvey, on him one-on-one. They fake, and they're going to go to Jodway. It looks like right across the middle of the field. Harvey slips and falls down. Jodway pulls it in, and he will walk to the end zone. Wow, Harvey kind of got behind him. They got their legs tangled just a little bit. Harvey went down at the 30. Ball was thrown perfectly to the 20. Jodway ran under it, and at that point in time, there were no gold helmets between him and the end zone. 12-10 now. Olivet scores again on a long drive.
Looks like they're going to go for 2 here, Jim.
Good idea. You know, chasing points is chasing points, but when you miss the first extra point, you might as well go for 2 right now. 12-10. They'll put the ball on the 3-yard line on the left hash mark.
Late substitution.
Jamal Martin comes in off the sideline there for the Olivet Comets, as they only had 10 on the field. Jodway comes to the right. He's the single receiver on our side. Saxton is the receiver to the top side of the screen. And then Martin, the only running back, as they go under center down. Turn, pitch. The quarterback falls as he does pitch it, and the young fellow that just checked in, Jamal Martin, gets knocked down at the 2-yard line by the Britons, and a good job by the Brits to keep him out of that end zone for the extra point. So far, Olivet has scored 2 long touchdowns to Jodway and then missed both extra points. The first time the kick, and the second time they went for 2, and the Brits stopped them in the backfield.
And it definitely makes you wonder what's going on that side of the field. That's right, basically the same spot where the bad snap. Quarterback also slips and falls as he's doing the toss sweep to their left. And so in 2 straight cases, right down around that 5-6 yard line, not able to get their footing right there.
That drive was 3 plays, 56 yards. And, I'm sorry, 3 plays, 70 yards, 56-yard completion to Jodway for the touchdown. So 1:24 to play in the first quarter. Is it going to be an offensive game? Yeah. Is the weather going to slow this down at all? I don't think so.
Like it. Sure doesn't seem like it. Both teams hitting big plays on the ground and through the air. Definitely entertaining to watch, but definitely makes you bite your fingernails if you're a fan of defensive football.
This ball will go out of bounds as it kicked towards the visitor's sideline, and it rolls out around the 7. So the Britons will have good field position as they open up here for their 3rd opportunity of the afternoon.
Both teams' kickers tending to hook the ball. Right-footed kickers hooking it to their left. In both cases, they've knocked it pretty well to the sideline prior to going in the end zone.
1:24 to play in the opening quarter. Brits have been inside the red zone twice on Olivet. First time they weren't able to punch it in, so they settled for a 21-yard Fabry field goal. Second time it was a touchdown run by Zarnecki that made 10 points right now for the Brits as we sit 12-10, 2 points behind the home team here at Olivet. Zarnecki again to the left, triples here on the home side, single to the top. Thomas looking the defense over and then calls out the numbers. Turns and fakes to Zarnecki, then follows him into the hole, then runs into him, and then bounces off his right hip and will get a yard, maybe 2, as Zarnecki was supposed to be that lead blocker, I believe, and Zarnecki got pushed right back into the play. And we do have an Olivet Comet on the ground. That's Mo Young, I believe, number 1, the junior.
That's not a good sign. Looks like he might be favoring that left arm. Certainly don't want to speculate.
So everything stops right here as we take a look at a couple of quick stats from this football game right now, Jim. You know, 3 first downs right now for Olivet compared to 6. Passing-wise, 2 for Olivet and 1 for the Britons. Let's see, total plays, 9 total plays for Olivet, 18 total plays for the Britons right now. But it's been the quick strike ability right now for Olivet, as they have 177 total yards to 153 for the Brits. They're averaging almost 20 yards a play right now.
Being able to walk off under his own power, definitely holding that left arm down. Have to see what kind of work he gets done and whether he's going to come back.
Blanzy's the point guy on this three-point arrow that we're looking at on the home side right now. Single receiver to the top. Zarnecki on the fake, and they're going to go the go up on the top side. And that ball's right on the money and caught by Koski inside the 35, down to the 33, and he was absolutely smothered. Boy, I tell you what, number 9, John Adams, had a stride-for-stride coverage for him, and Thomas just dropped it right in the bucket.
Yep, and that's a case where I think if he turns around to make a play on that ball, he's at least going to get a deflection right there, but that's dropped in the bucket, as they say, Jim.
37 ticks left in this opening quarter, and the Brits trying to go back on top as they trail 12-10 here on the Britain's Football Network. Zarnecki to the right of Thomas in the pistol look, doubles top and bottom. They'll turn fake to Zarnecki. I think that was supposed to go to him. Thomas kind of looked like, hold it a minute, where are you heading? And he followed him into the hole for a couple.
Yep.
I think he was looking to hand that one off.
Yep, Zarnecki was moving at one speed right there, and Thomas was moving at a slightly slower speed.
And I think what the key, Jimmy, was Zarnecki was looking at that big fella, that Tyler Douglas at 6'3", 340, and said, man, I got to make my block on this big guy, so I better get ahead of steam. With that, the quarter ends. We've got 15 in the books here from Olivet, and the Comets on top 12-10.
Jim, Albion College hosts a statewide celebration of ceramics today. Started at 8 a.m. this morning at the Bobbitt Visual Arts Center. This one-day biennial conference showcases the excellence of ceramic art and its diversity of techniques. This community event is open to the public. Registration was required, and all instructions can be found at the Michigan Ceramics Arts Association website, michclay.com. That's michclay.com.
Well, after one quarter here in the books, it has been an interesting football game. We talked a little bit about how the weather was going to affect this, how this was going to happen this afternoon. And so far, it really has not affected either one of these teams all that much.
I'm going to get you some individual stats there, Jim.
Give me some numbers, Jimbo.
For the Britons, Kyle Thomas, 4 of 6 for 59 yards. Thomas also leads the ground game, 7 carries for 80 yards. Zarnecki, 7 for 44, and that touchdown through the air. Koski has the 28-yard catch. Sykes, 2 for 27. For the Comets, Lane Porter, 4 of 5 for 155 and 2 touchdowns. Basically 2 fly patterns that were not very well defended. Jerome Washington, 4 carries for 22 yards. And Jacoby Jodway catches the 2 fly pattern passes, including one that went for 92. 2 catches, 148, and 2 scores. So it's been 2 big plays through the air for the Comets. And the Britons have done a better job this week of mixing pass and run so far.
The Cutler Athletic Complex is where we are on the campus of Olivet, and the Britons have the football going left to right now in quarter number 2 as Thomas throws the deep ball again. This one basically behind the receiver and out of bounds. Marlon Martin was the intended receiver. Thomas again finds himself here on the turf and gets up kind of gingerly.
One thing I have not been keeping an eye on, admittedly, Jim, as I'm watching the pass go down the field, is when Thomas is getting hit. Is it a little late? Is it right on time? But he's taking some serious shots.
Thomas has Zarnecki to his right. He's got doubles, tops, and bottoms. Sykes is the wide receiver on this side. Thomas calls it out from the pistol look. Looks like a linebacker's coming. He hands to Zarnecki, who has room off the left guard. He'll be to the 30-yard line before they knock him down. A pickup of a couple. It'll be now a big decision to make here at the 30.
I think you go for it right here. Again, you're too far to kick, too close to punt. And if you don't get it here, it's not really the end of the world. I mean, I wouldn't do a 15-yard pooch punt. You might as well go for it.
Brits will keep the offense on the field. Sykes will be the wide receiver here. In the slot will be Blanzy.
Thomas might have got his ankle rolled up a couple plays ago, Jim.
Poor next to him, kind of right behind him. Single wide receiver to the top. Zarnecki is the running back. Thomas throwing the deep ball, and he's got his guy Blanzy right on the money at the 5, and he dives in the end zone for a touchdown. Nice job by Kyle Thomas to hang in there and put that ball in the money.
Jim, Thomas still not putting as much weight on that, I believe it's his right ankle. Definitely got a little banged up a couple of plays ago. Showed a lot of toughness right there, though, hanging in the pocket.
All right, the extra point coming now, 16-12. Brits as Fabry on to try to convert for the third time this afternoon. This will be his second extra point, plus a field goal that was kicked from just about this same spot on the other end of the football field. Placement is good, the kick is good, and just like that, the Brits go back on top 17-12, and this could be one of those track meets in the rain this afternoon, Jim.
Kind of game we're used to seeing from a couple of seasons ago. Jim, Albion College celebrates homecoming coming up next week, October 20 and 21. See albion.edu/homecoming for a list of events. That's going to be big, October 20 and 21 coming up this week. albion.edu/homecoming.
Should be a fun time, and we're going to be back there to do the ball game. Full video next week. We'll look forward to that. But good to have all the folks that are out there right now. And Jimmy, how can they talk to us here today? Because they can still send us a note if they'd like to.
You bet. Even though this is an audio-only broadcast, we still welcome your feedback. Shoot us a line at webcast@albion.edu. I have my phone right here, and I am ready to receive and read your messages. And if you happen to be on the West Coast again and you want to take a picture of the surf and the palm trees, that would not hurt my feelings at all.
Rain's picked up just a little bit here today in intensity now as we have the heaviest rain we've seen all day long. Again, back is John Adams. He's on the 10 on the home side. They'll kick it to Martin on the visitor's side. He'll come up to the 15 to catch it. 20 has room in the middle of the football field. He's across the 30 and knocked down then at about the 34-yard line. They'll give him the 35.
Touchdown saving tackle by Zach Kitka, number 84 right there, Jim. He had a good head of steam, and he had a serious crease up the right side.
So it'll be first down and 10. Neither one of the defenses really have been able to slow the offenses down here this afternoon. Parker is 4 for 5 through the air for 155 yards already, a couple of touchdowns. And Thomas at 5 for 8 for 89 yards here this afternoon. So, you know.
Yeah, 155 passing yards and 148 of them going to one guy on 2 plays.
Yeah, isn't that amazing, huh?
So I think you play him probably 30 yards off the line of scrimmage and maybe a doubling.
They'll give you doubles on this side, and they'll turn and hand the football off to their running back. And I'll tell you what, Jerome Washington having a pretty nice afternoon early on here as well as he runs straight up the middle of the field across the 40 to about the 42.
Just a touch under 14 minutes to play in the first half. Again, the Britons lead 17-12. And the Comets now on the move with decent starting field position and a good first down run to give them a second and short.
Thomas White and Cornelius Saxton, the two receivers here on the home side. That's the wide side of the football field. And again, I would believe Jodway, the receiver, clear on the top side. They'll turn again and hand off to the running back. And he's still on his feet across the 50 at the 45-yard line. Nice fake by Lane Porter as he went around the edge. But by that time, Jerome Washington, was barreling through the middle of that football field all the way into Britt's territory before they knocked him down at the 45.
Football tends to also be a game of reactions. You've been burned twice by the pass, so now maybe your little gun shy to creep up to the line of scrimmage. Now your safeties are going to have to play probably 10, 15 yards back, and it's tougher in run support.
Jodway, again, the only receiver on this side, doubles to the top. Again, Washington, the lone setback in the backfield, a step behind and to the left of the quarterback, and they turn and they'll grind this one out again. Straight up the field for a couple. Washington gets to about the 43 for 2. Harvey's been playing Jodway one-on-one, and so far, Jodway has gotten the best of young Mr. Harvey this afternoon. Jodway at 6'1", 175 pounds out of Quincy, Michigan. And Harvey at 5'10", 165 out of Oak Park.
Still playing basically man coverage, one deep safety right here.
They'll go doubles now on both sides with Washington now right to the left of the quarterback in the pistol. 12:21 to play here, third quarter. Blitz. And they'll find their man, but not before he's able to almost get back to the line of scrimmage. And this is one big fella, folks. Lane Porter.
See?
Carried 3 or 4 guys with him. First guy that hit him was 46, Nick Davenport. Nick, not a little fella. He had a whole bunch of help, and Porter, who looked like he was going down at around the 48, gets all the way back to the 44-yard line. It'll be third down now and 9.
You fans of Sunday football, Roethlisberger-esque right there.
Yep, big fella, big boy.
Can't just get him around the ankles or around the legs. You got to probably 2 men to wrap him up.
Doubles top and bottom. Washington again, the running back to the left. of Porter in the backfield. Blitz coming straight up the middle of the field. Will they get there? Porter steps around it. Now he's open at the 43, and a good job by Anerot to come up and do exactly what you said he needed to do. It looked like Porter was going to maybe get to the first down sticks. Anerot came up, took his pins out at him at the 43-yard line. He was really the only gold helmet between him and that first down stick.
Yep, excellent job by Anerot right there. You had the quarterback kind of leaning towards that way, and that didn't have that good balance right there. Able to cut the legs out, get him
Carter
stopped.
will step back at the 10-yard line and wait on this kick.
Watch a fake right here.
Britain's kind of staying home. It doesn't look like they're going to blitz. Now here comes a nice rush. They almost got there. Carter already fair catching down at about the 11-yard line, so it'll be Britain's football. And a nice job by the Britons to get some serious pressure on that kicker that time.
I was looking at the relaxed nature of the punter right there, Jim. He just didn't seem to be in a hurry at all, and they almost got the block.
Elverson was the young man that almost got there, as they've got him actually doing a little rushing on the on this side of the football on the special teams, and he was about one step away from knocking that one down and maybe having a scrum in the middle of the backfield.
28-0 trying now, 10:35 to play, quarter number 2. Again, you have Alma at Aurora at 2 p.m. and Adrian travels to Hope for a 4 o'clock kickoff. So these are the only 2 games going on.
Brits have the football on their own 11-yard line now. Again, that pistol look was Zarnecki to the left, and they'll fake it to him and throw the ball, little flanker screen to Blanzy out at the 15-yard line, and that'll be a nice pickup of about 4 on that first down toss.
If you're looking to build Kyle Thomas's confidence after a tough week last week, those are good patterns to do it right there. Nice, simple 4-yard in, and just sit down and, easy pitch and catch.
Sykes and Blanzy here on this sideline now on the home side with us. As Blanzy's in the slot, they'll fake again. And Thomas this time is going to get smeared in the backfield. Boy, that was not a good situation for Kyle Thomas. Thomas faked to Zarnecki. It looked like he was going to roll and maybe throw that football, but before he could ever get to think about that, there were 3 big guys in red shirts waiting on him.
Number 90, Robert Cuba, the guy you mentioned in the pregame on the stop. And I don't think, Jim, I really don't think Thomas is 100%.
So he's still in the football game. He's got doubles to the top and doubles to the bottom right now. Wide receiver and 2 guys in slots. Zarnecki to his right. They'll turn and hand to Pat, and Pat will get a couple of those yards back as he works his way straight through the middle at the 15-yard line.
I think it's a safe play call right there. Going to try to kick it past midfield and try to flip the field a little bit, but you definitely don't want to take a chance. Again, Thomas with those 5 interceptions on the season. That's one where you might find yourself trying to force that one in to make a play.
Blanzy comes in to kick this away, and standing and waiting on it right at the midfield stripe is number 83, Bryce Johnson. Good snap. Here comes the rush. Gets off a nice high booming kick that moves Johnson back into his territory. Catches it at the 44-yard line, makes the first Brit miss, but there's too many Brits down there for him. Crosses the 45 and is tumbled down there at the 47-yard line. Nice job by the Brits to get down. Looks like it was Joe Fullerton that made the tackle there, 45 for the Britons.
Fullerton a little bit shaken up at the end of that play, but he stays in the huddle, ready to go.
Game clock in the second quarter at 8:53 to play here. Britons on top 17-12 if you just tuned into the Britons Sports Network on this afternoon. I keep wanting to say radio network because there's no cable, there's no cameras or anything around here, but at the same time.
There are, but they're not ours.
Yeah, they're just not ours this afternoon. Doubles right in front of us here, single to the top, single running back again in the backfield. That's Washington. He is a step behind and to the left of the quarterback, Lane Porter, who's in the pistol. Turns, hands to Washington on first down, and Washington has a lot of room. Middle of the field, he's still running at the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Man, 52 big ones for Washington. Nothing fancy, just a great big opening right up the center of the football field and a whole lot of green grass to run on.
Yep. Anerot showed run blitz from the right-hand side right there, but that he didn't even get a whiff of that play. That one went right up the gut, and no secondary help right there for run support. That one straight line to the house.
So it's a battle of offense this afternoon, and they will keep the offense on the field, I believe.
Again,
and
you have to keep chasing points at this point.
18-17 Olivet. They've missed both their extra points this afternoon. A bad snap on a kick, yep, Jimmy, and then basically 1 for 2 for the pitch, and the Britons were there to slow them down and stop them. So now Porter goes under center. He's got Washington. He's only running back in the backfield. He's got doubles here on the home side and no receivers to the top, which is the short side and the visitor's side of the field. He'll turn, fake to Washington. He's going to naked bootleg and throw to a wide open tight end who was lined up tight, blocked a little bit, and was standing all by himself in the visitor's side of the end zone for an easy little toss that you or I could have completed there, and they finally caught the points.
Well-designed play right there. Good boot. Roll only had one man to beat, and then as a defender, basically who do you guard at that point? You defend, you defend the boot, figuring the quarterback's going to run it in. You didn't see the tight end kind of sneak and roll out to the right, and he's all by his lonesome there for an easy pitch and catch for a 2-point conversion.
Easy little toss right there, and just like that, again, the Brits find themselves down by 3 here with 8:43 to play in the first half.
Fun first half.
Oh, this has been a good football game, and it's just a normal Saturday afternoon of football on the Britain Sports Network. Zarnecki will drop back. He'll be on the home side, down around the 5-yard line. Jordan Carter will be here on the visitor side. Carter on the home side here, and both of them standing at the 5, waiting for this kick from Douglas Pollard. Pollard only a sophomore, and he gets into this one. He sends it to Carter, who will backstep all the way into the end zone and bring it back out. 10, straight up the middle of the football field, tripped at about the 15 and falls forward to about the 17. Maybe they'll give him the 18, but it'll be first down and 10 now for the Britons offense.
Gutsy return right there as the ball goes into the end zone, then brought out. Usually you say if you don't get to the 20, you lost an opportunity, but be interested to see if they would have allowed him to get a touchback there, because that ball he took a step back into the end zone when he caught it.
17-yard line, maybe the 17 and a half, almost the 18. They're going to call it the 17 on the scoreboard, but the ball kind of in between the two. First down and 10 for the Britons. They've had the ball for 12 minutes and 40 seconds so far this afternoon, compared to 8:37 for the home team from Olivet.
Yeah,
so that's
what
a good
Olivet's
sign.
doing with it when they have it. That's the troubling thing, is 2 gigantic pass plays for scores and 1 big run. So, big play offense on both sides. The difference so far is really that 1 possession for the Britons, settling for the field goal.
Poor and Koski go to the top, Poor in the slot. Down here it is Blanzy and Martin right in front of us. Thomas again in that pistol look with Zarnecki to his left in the backfield, back around the 15-yard line. They hand to Zarnecki around the right end. He ran right past a couple guys in red shirts, gets across the 25, and is close to the first down. In fact, they'll say he has the first down. I was waiting for Pat to get wiped out almost to the line of scrimmage. He just ran right through a couple of guys with white helmets and kept on going up the field for an 11-yard pickup.
Was able to take that around the right end right there. I think thought he was going to initiate contact sooner than he did, but he lowered the shoulder and drove past the sticks.
Rain keeps getting a little harder here this afternoon. Probably the most intensity we've had. Thomas looks to throw. He hangs on it for a while, then lobs it out to Blanzy. He's in the center of the football field, and he's into Olivet territory. Had to wait on it just a little bit, but he's inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. That ball floated just a little bit as Blanzy was about 5 yards behind anybody in that secondary. And if it would have been thrown in front of him, it probably would have been 6. But Thomas just did a wonderful job under a huge amount of pressure to get it as far as he did. First down and 10, Brits in Olivet territory now. Zarnecki on the carry, right tackle, and Pat's across the 30 to the 29-yard line. And all of a sudden, the holes are starting to open up on both sides of that line.
Zarnecki upset with himself right there. He lost his footing on that last cut going back right. I think had he kept that cut true, he might have made his way all the way to pay dirt.
Zarnecki gets 8. Britons with the football. 7:28, second quarter here from Olivet. The rain is really coming down hard right now. Thomas looks to throw. He has time, and he throws this one a little too far. Sykes was the intended receiver, and he thought Sykes was going up and out, and Sykes was going up and in. And that ball thrown over everybody's head down to the goal line.
Fortunate for the Brits that wasn't intercepted, because you only had 1 player potentially able to make a play on the ball. And that was number 2, Walter Love III.
Pass ball's incomplete.
Sykes now the wide receiver on the home side. Poor in the slot on the home side. Doubles to the top. That's Blanzy in the slot. They turn and hand it again to Zarnecki, who kind of slipped and fell, but he got far enough to get the first down as he's down inside the 30 at the 27.
And that was the important thing, is it was a 3rd and short. So you took the home run shot on 2nd down, figuring that we still have another down to get that 2-3 yards and move the chains.
Good news is Mo Young is back in the ball game. He made the tackle on that play. So Mo, who had a little bit of a problem with the hand early, is back in the football game with 6:50 to play before the half. Zarnecki again to the left of Thomas in the backfield. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom here for the Brits, and he'll follow Zarnecki into the hole. And boy, Zarnecki and he both ran into a wall at the 25-yard line. He was able to scoot to the right just a little bit, and that was just whoever had that thing bottled up on the other side, man, stuffed them both.
Well, and the only reason that play wasn't more of a disaster than it was is he ran into the backside of a few defenders instead of the front.
2-yard pickup there for Thomas on the carry. 6:15. The clock is moving towards the half. Zarnecki again to the left of the quarterback. Thomas doubles top and bottom, and they'll hand the ball to Pat again. Left guard, this time another short pickup, maybe a yard as he's inside the 25 to the 24. Ball's pretty much in the middle of the football field, kind of heading towards the right hash mark. Clock at 5:50 and running.
And wind not really a factor, rain the bigger issue. So you wonder if that's going to influence the play calling decision on 3rd down, thinking maybe we're going to go 4-down territory anyway.
3rd down and 7. Zarnecki to the left, doubles top and bottom. Thomas drops. Here comes the heat. He's throwing it deep. He's got Poor at the goal line, and he's out of bounds down at the 1. Now they're going to say he didn't catch the ball in bounds.
Close.
Boy, that was close. That sure looked good from up here, but again, down at the 1-yard line, Poor had to go down for the slide to catch it, and I think what happened was his feet as he maybe slid over that end line as he made the catch at the 1-yard line, and the pass will go incomplete. Nice throw by Thomas, nice catch by Poor.
Both quarterbacks on the money today so far. 4th
down, and the Brits are going for it. Triples to the top. Here comes the rush off the top end. Thomas trying to get out of the pressure, and he's not going to make it, as he is sandwiched at the 31-yard line and dropped right there. First guy in was Robert Cuba. And 99 and 97, Danielle Griffith also in there. And 99 is, what's the number on that one there, big guy? That truck.
Number 99, Jacob Smith, the freshman. Thomas trying to spin out. One of those defensive linemen's dreams come true. When you spin out, you spin right into the arms of a defender who's more than happy to go ahead and introduce you to the turf.
So the turnover on downs gives the ball to the Olivet Comets at the 31-yard line with 5:15 to play, and they come right back out and put Jerome Washington to the left of the quarterback in the pistol. Doubles go to the top single receiver here on the bottom. That's Jodway, and he has single coverage again by Harvey. They'll turn and hand to Washington because Washington has just absolutely been running like a man who has a mission this afternoon after that long touchdown run. And he'll get about 4 on 1st down, maybe 5 as he crosses the 35 to about the 36. 2nd down now and 5 as we're under 5 minutes to play here at the half.
Rodriguez and Reynolds on the stop right there. Good double team tackle, but not before he picks up half the distance for that 1st down as we tip just under 4:45 and counting in the 1st half.
Saxton's been kind of quiet. He's in the slot up on the visitor sideline. Jodway's to the our side and wide in single coverage, and they're going to fake the ball to Washington, and they're going to go after Jodway again. This time good coverage. Quarterback going to have to keep it. He'll run out and slide just short of the 40-yard line. They'll mark him at the 39-yard line. And this time Harvey did a much better job with Jodway. That was in the intention. Again, you could tell he was given the little head fake and was waiting for Jodway to clear. Harvey that time stride for stride with him all the way down the football field.
He's definitely going to want to make sure he has a second pair of cleats in the half because he's going to do a lot of running in that second half chasing him too.
3rd down and 2, doubles on the top and bottom. Washington the only running back in the backfield, and they will throw the little flanker screen pass for the 1st down to Andre Houston, and Houston will carry it out across the 40-yard line to the 44 before he steps out of bounds right in front of his bench. Rain now starting to collect on the football field. We got a little puddle down there between the 50 and the 40-yard line, so it's coming down kind of hard right now.
And you saw how far poor hydroplaned after that catch.
Yeah.
Football is such a game of inches sometimes, though, Jim. How close was he to that completing that catch at the 1?
Oh, very close. Turn and hand off to Washington. He'll go right side for a couple across the 45 to about the 47. Give him almost 4 when they unpile everything. For the Britons, down on the bottom is Dallas Reynolds. 2nd down at about 6. Clock at 3:15 to play here in the opening half.
Clean play so far. Both offensive lines doing a good job without Laundry on the field.
Washington, again, the only running back in the backfield. Jodway right in front of us. He's got Harvey with him. Saxton is the slot receiver on the top, and then a receiver even deeper on that visitor sideline. They will hand it to Washington, and this time the Britons defense is right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage. He'll get a yard, set up a 3rd down at about 4, and that rain just ratcheted it up another notch here.
Kubit Miller and Dallas Reynolds on the stop right there, and the crowd, I think, half cheering on the rain and half cheering on their Comets. Sometimes you just tell the rain, bring it on, you know what I mean?
That's all you can do, and it is coming down hard right now. Fortunate thing, no real lightning, just a lot of gray skies and a whole bunch of dampness. Humidity rate very high up here in Olivet here today.
Crazy to think a 1 o'clock kick has the lights on at the stadium.
Triples to the top, single to the bottom. One running back in the backfield. Quarterback drops. He has some pressure coming. He's going to try to run up the middle of the football field, and the Brits say, no, thank you. They'll drop him at midfield. He'll get about a yard. It's 4th down at about 3.
3 guys, though, it took to get him down.
Always takes 3 guys up there.
It's incredible.
Austin Lynn, the first guy, he was on the bottom of that pile, had a little help with Dallas Reynolds.
I don't see any reason why you don't kick this one. Probably go ahead and run the play clock all the way down, get your timeout.
Play clock is at 32 and counting. Game clock at 1:39 and counting.
And we're just...
and I think that's exactly what we're watching right now, Jim. Everybody looking at the clock, waiting on what they want to do next.
And we're watching Lane Porter take his knee brace off. That's you usually don't see the player just, go through a uniform change essentially on the field.
That could mean a quick kick out of the quarterback as well. Clock down to 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and they'll call a timeout.
Sure.
Both teams had all 3 of them left, and they'll discuss what they want to do with 1:09 to play in the first half.
And if you're asking why didn't Britons call timeout right there, neither team seems to have had trouble scoring quickly. So with the weather the way it is, if you can hit a big pass, both teams have done a good job getting the receivers behind the secondary. It really only could take 1 play, and it doesn't take long to take it to the house.
And we'll just have to see if they're going to send the offense back in or whether they will punt this away. But at the midfield stripe, Olivet does have the football to open up quarter number 3 as they will have the ball.
I don't think you risk going for it
in
here.
fact, we'll have the ball to open up. We deferred, didn't we, at the first half? Yep. So Olivet with the football with 1:09 to play here. 4th down and just about 4, but here comes the offense back on the field. So they're not.
I'm surprised.
They're not thinking punt right now, and the Brits defense has the opportunity to maybe set up that offense with a couple of timeouts. They've got 3 of them, all 3 of them left, with 1:09 to play.
28-7 Trine leads Kalamazoo. Just under 5 minutes to play in the first half at Trine.
Lane Porter is going to go under center now. He's got a back to his right. He sends a guy in motion heading towards the visitor sideline, turns and hands to Washington, and they open up a monster hole, and Washington scoots through across the 45 to the 43-yard line. I'll tell you what, the right side of that offensive line opened up a hole big enough that anybody could have run through.
Yep, and that's where, again, we talked about it during the Adrian game. The Bulldogs on that last drive to seal the win basically leaned on their offensive line and said, you're winning this game for us, guys. And I think the Comets did just that on that play right there. You are getting this first down for us.
First down now and 10 at the 43-yard line of the Britons. 39 ticks left on the clock before the half. fake the handoff, drop back deep. Porter wanting to throw this football, and he's got his guy inside the 30 at about the 27, 28-yard line. That's Jodway again. Harvey makes the tackle at the 27-yard line. He goes out of bounds to stop the clock as they move the sticks. 30 seconds left to go as everybody sets up again in Olivet, trying to make some things happen. They just stopped the clock basically to move the sticks, I think.
Well, they also moved the clock, though, 2 seconds, so they got to go back to 30, I think.
There you go.
I was surprised there. I saw him get knocked out of bounds, and then I saw the clock move out of the corner of my eye. So they'll reset that to 30 seconds, and the clock will not wind until the ball is snapped.
First down and 10. Ball at the 26-yard line. Under center goes Lane Porter. Washington, the running back, and only back in the backfield. He'll fake again, drop and look to throw, and he has time and a wide open receiver at the goal line. It was just a matter of waiting for the ball to come out of the air, and that's Saxton. Cornelius Saxton somehow is standing all by himself at the goal line. You want to talk about some upset coaches. That's your number one guy. That's the guy that you got to worry about. How do you let Saxton all by himself on the home side of the football field at the end zone with nobody around him?
Part of how that happens is Jacob Jodway, number 25. 165 yards on 3 catches so far. I think sometimes you forget who the number 1 receiver and the number 2 receiver is, and because the number 2 receiver burned you so bad, you overcommit.
Extra point is up and good, and just like that now Olivet stretches their lead to 27-17. And I'll tell you what, if I'm a defensive coach for the Britons right now, I got some explaining to hear at the halftime for that one, because you stop them right here without any points, and you go in with a little momentum going on. Right now you're down 10 points.
You get that 4th down stop at midfield. You have 50-some seconds and only about 50, 48, 49 yards to get to the end zone, which you know you can get pretty quickly. Instead, you're down 10. You give up that 4th down conversion. A couple of good pass plays right there, including a wide open receiver in the corner of the end zone.
And that was not like it was threading the needle and a hard throw to the end zone. That was a floater that took like forever to get down to that goal line, it seemed like. And when you look to the left corner, to our left corner, you watch young Mr. 6, number 6, Cornelius Saxton, just standing there waiting and waiting and waiting what seemed to be forever for that football to get to him. So
he was able to check his stock portfolio before the ball got there, Jim.
Zarnecki will wait for the football. He's at the 5-yard line on the home side. Carter on the other side, and they'll kick this one short. Sykes will take it at the 28-yard line. In fact, that's not Sykes. That is actually 84, I believe, Zach Kitka that pulled that one in. Not 83, and Kitka brought it back across the 31-yard line.
Number 2, Noah McMinn. There are 2 number 2s, of course, on the home team. Noah McMinn, a sophomore halfback playing special teams right there, got himself a big old tackle.
Thomas, again, I think you're right, Jimmy. It looks like that ankle's not good. He kind of runs out very gingerly on that one side. Yeah. They'll bring triples to the top, the home side, or the visiting sideline. That's the wide side of the field. Single receiver here to the bottom, that's Blanzy. 19 ticks left in the first half. They have all 3 timeouts. They'll turn and hand to Zarnecki. Zarnecki has room across the 40, 45, makes one miss, heads towards the visitor's sideline, stays in bounds at the 40-yard line, ducks his head to the 39, and the Brits will call timeout with 10 seconds to go in the first half.
Again, you can hit big plays. I don't think they're going to be able to run it a second time. I think you're going to have to put it in the air, and you maybe have 2 shots at this point. But you're certainly in a lot better position than you were to start. Again, though, you go back to that 4th down. If you get that 4th down stop right there, a play like that puts them in the red zone, and you probably still have about 40 seconds left.
10 seconds is all that's left here in this opening half. Brits have the football. They have it on the 39-yard line of Olivet. They called their first time out of the half.
You don't get a cookie and a juice box for taking them into the half with you, so you might as well use them.
So the Britons talking it over on their sideline. Halftime today. We'll get you some stats, and then we're going to take a little break. We have a couple of features that we'll play for you. If you'd like to send us a message and you're listening out there, Jimmy, the best way to send us a message this afternoon?
Shoot us an email at webcast@albion.edu. You can let us know where you are, who you're rooting for, and if you want to give a family shout-out, we're happy to do that, too. We appreciate the moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, and former players and alums.
Yeah, no doubt about
of
that.
Albion College, reaching out and letting us know where you are, when you graduated, who you're rooting for, all that good stuff.
Doesn't seem like the rain's going to let up anytime this afternoon. It's coming down pretty hard right now. The water's starting to collect on the football field. Thomas will be in the backfield in the pistol look. Zarnecki to his right. Triples bunched together here on the home side. Single receiver to the top. There's the snap. Thomas will step up in the pocket, looking to throw. He'll pitch it out basically to Zarnecki. Zarnecki will get down at the 31 and call a timeout. Will they get it in time is the only question.
I don't think they're going to give it to him. He may have had 1 second left, but I think the officials are just going to say, you know, it's raining too hard.
Had to kind of, looking downfield, coverage was good. Had to just kind of flip
close.
that one forward to Zarnecki, who actually took a couple steps and went down at the 32-yard line.
It was really close.
And we'll just have to see what the officiating crew here decides, whether that timeout was called with 1 second left or, as the scoreboard clock shows, no time left.
And they don't do the fractions of seconds here.
Yeah, they're gonna say we've got a chance, I guess is what they're gonna say. Put it up there with 1 second on the clock. Send the offense back out on the field.
In the words of Lloyd Christmas. So you're saying there's a chance.
Sykes the receiver here on the home side. Triples on the top. Zarnecki to the left of Thomas. The lefty gets back and looks to throw. He's got trouble in the backfield. You're going to throw this away, and I think he's got a holding call in the backfield as well. And that's going to bring the half to an end as we work on just a little bit of something that flew into the throat there for the last minute. I don't know whether there was a bug there or what got in there, but
if I needed to throw my headset down and catch you.
I'm going to tell you right now that the bugs up here at Olivet taste extremely well as they go down.
It's protein, buddy.
That is protein. So the half comes to an end as the Brits really have an incompleted pass that had no opportunity, and they'll head for their locker room. Down 10 points, 27-17 here on the Britain Sports Network. Tough afternoon of football as we take a look at some scores around the area, Jim.
Again, the only other 1 o'clock kick is Trine hosting Kalamazoo. Trine leads 35-7 near the end of the first half. Alma at Aurora getting ready to kick off. That's a 2 p.m. scheduled kick. And Adrian travels to Hope for a 4 o'clock kick. Hopefully your weather at those two games just a little bit better than the weather here in Olivet, as it is raining, and I believe we will accumulate 200 inches of rain by the end of the game today.
That's not going to slow the Comet Band down as they come out with their slickers on here to perform to the home crowd. A good crowd here today.
Yes, sir.
Got their umbrellas up, got their raincoats on. They're doing their thing right here. And, Jim, why don't we take a look at some first half stats before we take a break?
For the Albion Britons, Kyle Thomas, 8 of 14 for 135 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions, so he did a much better job taking care of the ball. However, he had a couple of costly sacks and has taken a lot of hits. Pat Zarnecki, the leading rusher for the Britons, 14 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. Thomas, 10 for 72. He did lead the team for a while on the ground. Zarnecki, though, broke off a couple of big runs and now leads the team. Blanzy, 4 catches for 73 and a touch. Sean Koski, 1 for 28. And Tyler Sykes, 2 for 27. For the Comets of Olivet, Lane Porter, a very efficient 7 of 8 for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns. Got most of those on a couple of big throws. Jerome Washington, 13 carries for 115 and a touch. And then through the air, Jacob Jodway, 3 catches for 165, including a 92-yard touchdown strike. Cornelius Saxton had the other touchdown reception. He has 2 for 34. The scoring breakdown is as follows. Albion scores first on a 22-yard field goal early in the first quarter to make it 3-0, capping an 8-play, 84-yard drive. Olivet answers with the Jodway 92-yard reception from Porter. That was the extra point that had the bad snap, so it made it 6-3. Zarnecki then gets a 3-yard touchdown run with 5:28 to play, capping a 10-yard drive, makes it 10-6. Olivet responds right away with a 56-yard pass back to Jodway. and that was a 2-point conversion that was missed. 12-10 was the score at that point. They traded touchdowns again as Blanzy gets a 30-yard touchdown pass from Thomas early in quarter number 2. The extra point made it 17-12. However, that would be the last time the Britons would taste pay dirt in the first half, as Olivet gets a 52-yard run from Washington about midway through quarter number 2, and then they cap the scoring with a 26-yard touchdown reception. Lane Porter to Cornelius Saxton in the near corner, capping a 9-play, 60-yard drive that went just about 5 minutes. That brings us to your halftime score of 27-17.
With that, we're at the half here. We're going to take a couple of minutes off here to collect ourselves, grab a bite, do a little nosh, as they say here on the East Coast. Olivet on top 27-17 here on the Britain Sports Network. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
And I have to take a lot of hard classes, and just being able to go into the practice room and just take out all my stress on the piano is really a great feeling.
Music and the music department as a whole has been so important to me because that's where my family is. People like me coming together and creating something that's more than us, something that's so beautiful and so important to us that it just sort of transcends everything else that we do.
Everyone, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak, you can understand whether I'm playing like a melodious piece or whether I'm playing an angry piece, you know, music is universal.
I came from a very traditional family, very musical all the way through. I sang in choirs in church all the way through high school. My parents loved opera, and so they would take me and my 2 older brothers to the opera. And I loved that aspect of music because it was not only singing, but it was dancing, it was everything all combined into one.
Well, our first gifts were very small, but eventually we started giving more and just kept stepping it up whenever we could. We saw our gifts being used and utilized in a proper and in a moral, ethical way, and so we were encouraged to keep giving more. We started thinking, what are the things that are missing on the Albion College campus that we could try to get to come in to increase the enrollment and increase the experiences of the students that are there.
Anything to get the music department out of the basement of the chapel is a good idea. To have a music building and a special place that they can call their home should make for a much more interesting adventure to a lot of young people.
I walked out of the chapel steps today as we come out of the basement, and I'm standing in front of my band, you know, my friends, my family, and I said I want nothing more than for people to be able to see us, for people to appreciate everything we've put in.
I think a new music facility will be such a huge improvement and will be so beneficial to not just the music department but to the college as a whole.
The more we thought about it, we said, you know, it makes sense because music is the language of the universe, so why not go with the music? The choice that the campus helped us with was a good one.
We would encourage others to give back to Albion as we have, because it has enriched our lives.
Music is such a discipline that you have to be a determined person. You have to be very diligent. You have to practice your instrument and hone your craft every single day. And that kind of work ethic goes over to my business studies. It goes over to French and Spanish. It goes over to my jobs. It allows me to work harder and become a more well-rounded student. So music indirectly impacts everything else that I do here at Albion.
So the music building is a special gift that we thought would be really a needed thing for the campus and for the students. It's not for us, it's for them.
I will continue on to medical school right away, and I would love to become an orthopedic surgeon one day.
Well, I think philanthropy is a key part of a meaningful life, and Albion helped me discover that, I believe, in that helping others in any way is not only, it's warming, but I think also a moral and I think a Christian obligation.
Through this scholarship, I can continue to do the things I love here at Albion College. I'm a member of the Institute for Healthcare Professions, a member of the Alpha Chi Omega Beta chapter, and I'm also a psychology tutor here at school. I can help to continue give to the community and to other people through my knowledge, but I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't able to be here.
And Albion helped me realize that there is a moral contract that those of us are fortunate enough to have these wonderful educational and life experiences like Albion College provides, that we should do something like that. And like the scholarship, I really feel I'm more warmed by it and enriched in a way. I can't say more than the recipients, but I think as much.
I guess I just assumed that like college classes would be pretty identical to high school classes, so like you would just have to be able to just show up every day and just do your work, and then like you'd be well off. And it ended up being that way. Like if you show up to class every day and you do your work, you'd be like well off. I guess I must assume that like also if you don't show up that you can still be on good terms, but like it doesn't work like that.
I came from a high school where, I had pretty tough classes, but, it's college, so things are a step up. And I was kind of worried, but once I kind of got acclimated to the environment, it was pretty easy and pretty fun, but, there are still challenging times. It's about time management and just kind of getting it done.
I think the best part about the written path was definitely having a mentor there to help me, because she was the same major as I am right now, so she's taken all the classes that I was taking at that time.
The biggest advantage most definitely would have to be the structure. Because I played sports, I was able to I had to find a way to organize my time. And the Britain Path gave me pretty much a schedule on how to keep everything organized. And without that organization, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through my first couple of semesters.
It's real easy to get lost your freshman year here, especially with all the workload that comes with it. The biggest advantage was having a tutor. He really helped me kind of sit down and map out my first semester and allowed me to, be successful at the things that I was doing.
I don't think I would have made it through first semester without the Britain Path.
Quite honestly, I would not be where I am today without the Britain Path program.
So Britain Path definitely was something that I'm glad I did. Definitely something that has helped me get to where I am in the college right now. I'm doing very well in my classes. In my professional career, I definitely believe that it will help. It's just something that builds upon itself.
Being in the Britain Path definitely helped me make time management skills through going to classes, practice, and having time to study in the end for my classes so I could pass.
I never made an agenda before college, and the Britain Path program taught me how to make an agenda and how to follow that to the T. So that honestly is what made me successful in college.
And we're back here at Olivet on the campus of Olivet College, and interesting afternoon of football here as we get ready for the second half of the football game this afternoon at the Cutler Athletic Complex, and a very rainy afternoon of football, and it is raining still here at halftime. The Olivet Comets up 27-17 here at the half after a couple of big strikes, and I think that's about the only thing that you can take out of that first half. The Brits going to have to somehow figure out a way to eliminate those big plays, because there's been 3 big plays that have gone for touchdowns here this afternoon that have the Brits down by 10 here at the halftime, Jim. Around the area, only one game already going still at this point in time. Any updates on that Trine game?
Trine leads at the half 35-7, and I'm going to take a peek in on the Aurora game that kicked off at 2 o'clock. See if we can't get some scores. As soon as I get a score on that one, I'll update that as well for you, Jim.
As we said before we left here, right before the break, Kyle Thomas with a pretty decent afternoon so far, 8 for 14 passing, 135 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. His counterpart, Lane Porter, with a pretty good afternoon as well, 7 for 8. His total's a little bit better, 202 yards with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a couple of big strikes here this afternoon to Jacob Jodway. Jodway with 3 catches already, 165 yards, 55-yard average. His long was 92, and he's taken 2 of them to the house already here this afternoon. Cornelius Saxton, who was pretty well silent for the entire first half until the very end, 2 catches, 34 yards, a 17-yard average, 26-yard long, but the one that really was the backbreaker right before the half, he caught that touchdown pass where, again, the secondary kind of lost track of that receiver, and he was standing all by himself there at the goal line for an easy pitch and catch. Zarnecki with 14 totes here in the first half. He has 100 yards almost, 99 total. 7.1 yard average right at this point. 29 yards was his long. He does have 1 touchdown, and that one a very interesting little run there in the red zone where it looked like you or I could have taken that one in, Jimmy, but a nice job by Pat to get that one in for the touchdown. Brian Blanzy with 4 catches to lead all the Brits for receiving, 73 yards. 18-yard average here in the first half, a longer 34, and he does have the other touchdown for the Britons here this afternoon. As the Britons again coming out of their dressing room right now to a very wet football field. Water starting to lay all around the field. I don't think the drainage is all that bad. We have just had that much water, and it is raining hard right now as both teams come out on the field.
Looking at some other Albion College contests so far today, the Adrian Bulldogs go on the road and defeat Albion in women's soccer 1-0. And it looks like the men's team getting ready to play at Hope. So we'll give you an update on that score when we get it. And we'll check to see if there are any other scores of interest to report. But again, only 2 football games going on with a 1 o'clock kick. No stats on the 2 o'clock kick game yet. And Trine leads at the half 35-7 against Kalamazoo, the only other game in the MIAA at this point. As soon as we get the 2 o'clock kick score, we'll bring that to you as well.
As we said, Alma at Aurora, they kicked at 2 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock tonight, Adrian at Hope. And that a very big game, a very telltale game maybe here today to see how good both those 2 teams are, as that one being played at Hope at 6 this afternoon. Olivet, when they're done with this one this afternoon, they will go to Benedictine next week. They'll be at Alma on the 28th. They'll be back home on the very first Saturday of November with Adrian, and then they will wrap up their season on the 11th of November, at least their regular season, at Trine. And obviously they're hopeful of a good close to this season and maybe an opportunity to win the conference again and to get a chance to play some secondary football here today. For the Britons, they have Olivet here today that will be home next week with Alma at the 1 o'clock kick. They'll be on the road on the 28th with Wisconsin Lutheran. We'll be at Hope on the 4th, and we'll bring you that ball game. Again, an audio-only game on the November 4th at Hope. And we'll close out our season with Kalamazoo on the 11th day of November. Currently around the conference at this point in time, you know, it is a situation where it is still wide open with plenty of time to play and an opportunity for several teams right now. Hope is 4-1 on the year at this moment. They're 2-0 in the conference, Trine at 5-0 at 1-0 in the conference. Adrian at 2-3 and 1-0 in the conference. And you have Olivet, who's 1-1, Alma at 1-1, and Albion and Kalamazoo, the 2 teams who have yet to win in conference. This is going to be an interesting second half as we have rain all over the windows here in the press box. Britons will get the football. They'll open everything up with the ball here in the quarter number 3. Zarnecki will be back deep. He'll be on the home side. And I think that is Harvey now, number 7 on the other side, but it's kind of hard to be able to see. Nope, we'll go back with that number and make it Jordan Carter again, still back on that 5-yard line as they wait the kick here from Olivet to open up quarter number 3. And again, our vision is going to be a little bit fuzzy here today because we have rain all over the front of the glass and it's kind of dripping its way down. We need the windshield wiper here as this ball is kicked to Zarnecki, and he'll back his way up to the goal line. Lost the football. It's laying on the 5. He'll come back, pick it back up across the 10, still on his feet at the 15. He'll force his way to about the 17-yard line, and what looked like a disaster, total disaster, turns out to be a halfway decent return by Pat Zarnecki, who lost his helmet on that play, and will go back over to the sideline for a play. So Zarnecki probably not the running back of choice here as we open things up, as he will have to set a play after losing that helmet.
I figure Poor will probably come in out of that, or they'll show a 4-wide look. We'll see how they adjust. Looks like they are going to bring a halfback out on the field for this first down play, Jim.
And they do bring that halfback out. I think that's Carlos Parks, 34, that is out there to the right now of the quarterback, Thomas. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom. Brits going to have their work cut out for them here in quarter number 3 as they fake the handoff, and Thomas runs around the right corner. He'll have a little bit of room and then be bounced out of bounds close to the 20-yard line after a pickup of about 4. They'll mark him out at the 19, and that'll be a gain of only a couple there as he steps out there.
Curious to see how he responds from whatever treatment he got in the halftime locker room, Jim. I don't think there's any question he was not 100% after that one nasty tackle. I think he got his ankle rolled up.
Mitchell, the running back now in the football game for the Brits, and he will be the only running back as they stay with the triple receivers now to the visitors' side to the top. Brits going left to right now on your radio, if you're listening to us on your computer screen here at this point in time. Single receiver here on the bottom. Mitchell to the left and about a half a step ahead of Thomas, who's in the pistol. Fakes the pass, and now he'll run and dodges the first guy. Can't get away from the second wave. He'll get just basically a yard as he gets to the 20-yard line, as everybody in a red shirt came up and attacked that ball. And it'll set up a third down now and about 7 for the Britons. Triples in front of us, single to the top. Again, Mitchell, the only running back to the right of Thomas, who's in the pistol. Big third down for the Brits as they really need a drive to open things up. Thomas going to let this one fly along the sideline. I think it's going to be picked off. Nope, it was dropped. Basically, John Adams III had the football at the 40-yard line, could not come down with it. Koski, the intended receiver who was behind Adams, the ball thrown a little bit short. Adams couldn't bring it in, and that will force the punt. So the Brits will go 3 and out to open up quarter number 3. So the Brits with not a real good situation here as they open up with a 3 and out. They barely get the kick away as the rush was on, and the fair catch caught back at the 40-yard line by 83 Bryce Johnson. And they'll put it right on the Olivet 40-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 now. Comets as they get their first try in quarter number 3. Good to have you with us here. Windows are a bit of a mess, Jim. Again, where's the guy with the squeegee when you need him, huh, at that point in time? He shows up every time you don't need him when you're trying to get across the street somewhere. But in this case, we need that fellow to come by and help us out just a little bit so we can see out just a little bit.
Only when he's fishing for tips.
Exactly. Washington will be the running back. Porter, the quarterback. He'll be a yard ahead of Washington, and he will not hand him the football. Instead, they'll go to Saxton on that little flanker screen, and Saxton is wrapped up right away.
Again, around the first one, trying to get that strip right there. But a good job of restraint by the Britons. That's where you get the guys forward progress, stop, the official blows the whistle. And I think back to the Adrian game with Rodriguez and unnecessary roughness penalty that kind of turned that fourth quarter around.
They'll give him a yard, second down now and 9. Triples go to the top. Washington, again, the only running back in the backfield. They've got a tight end here on the home side, and that's it. Porter in the pistol. He'll drop, and he's going to throw it to the top side of the field. Again, that screen pass, and this one is dropped, and it will be a forward pass, an incompleted pass. Intended receiver was Thomas White. White got the ball in and then got it to that wet jersey and couldn't hang on to it. One of his teammates scooped it up, but by that time they had ruled it dead. And it'll bring up third down now and 9. 13-18. Just getting started here in quarter number 3. Anarat, a busy fella out there most Saturday afternoons, the junior out of Naples.
Looks like he's a matchup corner today as he was on the right side first down, or second down, and then the left side, yeah.
Doubles tops and bottoms, single running back to the right now of the quarterback. Porter in the pistol. He'll drop back to throw. He has heat coming. He'll roll towards his right, still looking to throw, and he does. And that ball thrown over a little bit too far to Jordway. Both Jordway and Carter go to the ground, and the plume that comes off that field looked a lot like somebody on a wakeboard out on a lake up here in Michigan rather than a couple of football players going for a football that was thrown a little bit too low.
Get used to it.
Incompleted pass.
A lot.
Fourth down now and 9 as the Brits about ready to get this football back.
We're going to be seeing it.
Yeah.
You're tuning in. You're just going to have to imagine it.
You're just going to have to listen to the description. Looks like the Brits are coming after this punt. Carter, the only guy back at the 15. Brits everywhere, and here comes that rush. They pick it up. Bad kick, though, off the side of the foot, and it went immediately out of bounds.
Probably about the 35-yard line, I would guess.
They keep walking up the sideline. 35, 36, keep coming. 38-yard line.
I can never guess that.
Tough call, though, from this side. But that one really came off the side of his foot and was not much of about a 20-yard kick there on the punt, and the Brits with good field position as they try a second time here in quarter number 3. And Kyle Thomas has been at the control all afternoon. After being pulled last week in the second half, Thomas has taken a couple of big hits this afternoon, but still has weathered the storm to this point in time, and it will be first down and 10. And this time he will have Zarnecki back in the football game with him. He'll stand to his left as the Brits go with single receivers top and bottom. And they'll turn and hand the ball to Pat. Pat doesn't have the ball, and now the Brits don't have the ball as it was laying on the carpet back on the 35-yard line, and it's scooped up there by one of the young fellows in a red shirt.
That's
58.
Jacob Smith, 99, I believe.
So unfortunately for the Britons, Zarnecki didn't have the football and he couldn't get on it. And Thomas went to try to jump on it at the 35, but unfortunately one of the Olivet Comets was on the ball before Thomas could make his move, and it's a turnover. And the first turnover of the afternoon by the Britons gives the Comets great field position now on the Albion 35-yard line.
Absolute last thing the Britons could afford to have happen right there, Jim.
Down by 10. They need one of their own right now. Doubles go to the top. Washington, the only running back in the backfield to the left and a step behind the quarterback. And Jodway just took off running about a step, and no call on this one, but Jodway was a step up the field before the ball ever got snapped. They hand the ball to Washington. He'll get a yard, but how the line judge over on this side didn't pull out a flag on that one, I don't know. Jodway was up the football field long before the ball was snapped, but the hanky never came out. It'll just be a pickup of 1, second down and 1. Again, Washington to the left of the quarterback and a step behind him.
I think they called arena rules
on
that first one, Jim.
Jodway is set this time, and he's got one-on-one coverage on this side. They hand again to Washington, again right up the middle of the football field. This time, Washington with plenty of running room. He'll cross the 30 and be down inside the 25 before they knocked him down. First down and 10 as the chains move down now to the 25-yard line.
One of the areas where the Britons' defense is very susceptible this season is that run right up the gut.
Offensive line of this football team for Olivet has done a pretty nice job here this afternoon of opening up some holes when they need to. They'll turn again and give the ball to Washington, and Washington again rumbling his way off the right side to the 15-yard line. He'll be close to another first down. Give him almost 10 again. Carter on the stop for the Brits, but not before Washington gets 9.5. And it's second down and short. And Olivet trying to take advantage of the first turnover of the afternoon by the Britons with a score. Turn again, hand off to Washington. This time the Brits are there, and they get him before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Austin Lynn grabbed a hold of Washington as he just was about to hit the hole and threw him down right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he lost about a foot It'll be 3rd down and a yard at this point in time for Olivet.
And if the Comets don't pick up the first down on this play, Jim, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't go for it on 4th down.
Ellis goes to the top of the formation right now. McLean goes to the bottom here. Those are their 2 wide receivers. They've got a power look here as they go under center. Washington, again, the running back, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Lane Porter just kept this one. He'll turn, hand to Washington. Washington hits at the line of scrimmage, but the forward motion will take him across the 15, and that forward motion will move the chains. Good job by the Brits to try to submarine. The guy on the bottom was Sean Kubit-Miller. But unfortunately, there were just too much momentum going forward to slow that one down, and Washington only needing about 2 feet. Gets entire yard, gets across the 15, and sets up a first down again for Olivet at the 14-yard line. 10:23 to play here, 3rd quarter.
Comets tried those short passes on the previous drive, didn't really get anywhere, so they're going back to the power running game. It's got them inside the red zone now.
Wingback goes from the right to the left and stands. Wide receiver, top and bottom, turned to fake the ball. Nope, they gave the ball to Washington. He's still rumbling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. Yep. Little delayed, a lot of motion. I still was looking at Porter, who does a really nice job with the play fake. And Washington had the football and was driving towards the goal line, and really met very little resistance between the 14-yard line and the end zone. So a 14-yard run at the 10:02 mark puts the Brits down 33-17.
Turnover proves costly as the Comets converted into 6 with the extra point. Possibly looking to double them up on the scoreboard.
Rainy afternoon, the rain still coming down, not quite as hard as it has been, but still pretty steady, and all the umbrellas and the rain gear are welcomed around here this afternoon. Bad snap. They're not going to get this one off. They throw it. It's intercepted.
Uh-oh.
Here go the Brits. 30, 40,
just get a block
50,
on that one.
40, 30, 20, 10. Is he going to make it?
Yep.
Jacob Wittens takes it all the way back on the 2-point try. It was actually a botched kick that was actually thrown by the holder. Wickens able to scoop it in at the 10, take it 90 yards the other way for the score. So the 2 points will go for the Britons. And we've got a flag down here on the 41-yard line. And we'll just have to talk this one over.
Look where it is compared to where they were running, Jim. If this is against Albion. Okay.
Nope, sideline on Olivet.
I was going to say, if you're throwing a flag way over there when the play is on the far end of the field, that would have been granted it's only 2 points, but that would have just been a killer penalty. So it makes it a 2-score game going the opposite way.
Well, that'll change your mind just a little bit. Jacob Wickens, who's had a really good year, the sophomore, able to scoop that one up, and I really don't know exactly what Thomas White was thinking. Bad snap. He scooped it up off the carpet, and instead of just going down and not worrying about it, he was trying to force that ball towards – I didn't see a red shirt at the top of the field. Actually, he threw it into 2 Britons, Wickens being one of them. He scooped it up, started running down the football field, got a couple of blocks, and just headed down that visitor sideline and went 90 yards with that one for the 2 points. So 33-19. So not quite double this time, Jim, because of that turnover.
Trine leads Kalamazoo 35-7, 11:34 to play in quarter number 3. And in the first quarter, 8:39 to go. Scoreless, Alma at Aurora.
Zarnecki will be waiting this kickoff. He's at the 5 on the visitor's side. They'll go the other way to Carter on the home side. He backs up to the 2. Out across the 10, the 15, center of the football field. Now he tries to head towards the left, and he gets wrapped up at about the 17, and he's going to be dropped right there. It'll be Brits football at the 17-yard line, first down and 10, and now they're down by 2 touchdowns, 33-19.
Tremendous amount of respect, Jim, for the kick coverage and kick return teams. And a day like today, you know you're going to get a whole bunch of contact, and you get that spit and rain as well. I mean, it's a thankless job, but you got tough young men on both sides of the ball.
For the Britons offense here today on that offensive line, guys we don't talk about an awful lot. Left tackle is Jordan Jones. Travis Myrick is the left guard. Dan Barrett the center. Jace Bowser is the right guard, and Lige McKinney the right tackle. And they're battling out there with some pretty good bodies, big-sized bodies on that Olivet side, and also having to fight through all this nasty weather. Fake the handoff, little short pass to Blanzy on the visitor's sideline flat. Blanzy will be across the 20, close to the 25-yard line. In fact, they're going to give him the 26. So a nice job by Blanzy to get 6 on first down. Shepard, the young guy on the tackle there for Olivet. They'll give him 6. Second down now, they'll say 5 pretty much right now. I'm saying 6. Second down and 4. He's at the 26-yard line, and the first stick's at the 20, so I'll give him 6. Obviously, I'm a Britton fan. Thomas fakes the handoff, then throws the quick one to Koski. It's over his head and out of bounds. And again, nice coverage on that outside by number 9, John Adams.
Yep. Koski had to play defense almost right there as he saw that one way overthrown, had to turn around and make sure that Adams couldn't make a play on the ball.
Third down, big third down for the Brits. They really need to keep this drive alive. 9:15 to play third quarter, and they're down 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, 14 points. Thomas drops. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up, and he trips and falls down in the backfield. Tried to make a move. I think he got his foot caught on somebody in the middle of that pile, took a step backwards and dropped back inside the 20 at the 17-yard line.
Might have been Lige McKinney, his own teammate, the O-lineman right there, 71. I think he went to backpedal. I think he got shoe on shoe right there. And again, in college, if you're down, even if it's not by contact, plays dead.
4th down and 12 now for the Brits as they'll have to kick this ball away. Good snap, line drive type kick, fielded at the 42-yard line. That's Johnson, and Johnson gets it across the 50 and to the 45-yard line of the Britons before he's knocked down.
Good open field tackle by Jordan Carter, number 5 right there. Got him on the shoe tops because he had because of that line drive kick, coverage didn't get a chance to get downfield.
So the Britons defense going to be called upon again to try to keep this game in check as the offense again sputters and cannot move the football on a rainy afternoon here at Olivet. We're at 8.5 minutes to play in the third quarter, and the Brits are down 33-19.
Mind you folks to shoot us an email at webcast@albion.edu. That's webcast@albion.edu. Let us know where you're watching, who you're rooting for, and if you are a former player or a graduate of Albion College, let us know that too.
Trenton Monroe is the tight end. He'll be on the visitor's side on the wing right at this point in time. Washington running back, and he is deep in a basic eye look. Receiver to the top and the bottom as the quarterback Porter will go under center this time. Turn, fake the ball to Washington. He's going to throw. Here comes the rush, but it's not there in time. Saxton on the throw out in the flat at the 25-yard line and pushed out of bounds at about the 23 by Rayshawn Robinson. And all of a sudden now the young fellow who just needed 72 yards today to become the leading receiver yardage-wise all time at Olivet is getting really close.
So he's probably about 10 or so yards away from that record. We'll get an updated stat tracker as previous to that catch. He had 36 through the air. Now he's at 61, so he's about 11 yards short.
Handoff goes to Washington. It goes right up the middle of the field to the 20. He'll cross it and get to the 19 before the Brits are able to make the tackle.
I don't think there's any question he's going to get that record today, though, Jim.
Yeah, I would have to think so.
He has come alive the last couple possessions in the first half and here into the second half.
Sean Cubitt Miller, the young guy that made the tackle on the inside of that defensive line. About a 3-yard pickup, second down now and 7:37 on the third quarter game clock. Washington again, right behind the quarterback, back in the pistol. They'll turn and feed it to Washington, and he'll have room straight up the middle. Works his way inside the 15, down to the 11. That'll move the sticks one more time and set him up with a first down at the 11-yard line.
Have to give a lot of credit to the Comets offensive line, Jim. The D-line of the Britons barely able to get an arm tackle attempt with a lot of these runs, especially the ones that are going up to gut. They are just getting blasted off the line of scrimmage.
Basically the right side of that line, all seniors, and then sophomores on the left side of that line, and they been able to run effectively both sides here today. They'll turn and hand to Washington again, and Washington this time finds the running a little more difficult as he gets caught up in the wash at the 10. He'll fall forward to the 9, give him about 2. Harvey there, one of the guys that made the tackle for the Brits.
I think it was also Hunter Shaw, 44. Stuck, wrapped, and really didn't let him get any farther than that. So short gain, but the Brits defense really needs to make a stand here.
Second down now, and 8 yards to go here for Olivet. 6:20 to play, third quarter. They'll go back under center again as Porter has a single running back Washington in a deep position in an I. 2 receivers to the top. They'll fake to Washington. They'll look to throw to the top in the corner of the end zone, and the Brits just knocked down the receiver. Oh, my goodness.
Bad penalty right there, Jim.
Ball was really thrown over the head of Saxton, and Anarot basically in the back, and Carter just trucked him in the back right corner of the end zone.
And they had really no reason to do it.
Easy call, double coverage, ball really not all that catchable, but it was close enough that you're going to make an interference call, that's for sure.
Yep, one defender trailing in coverage, I could see how he might run through, but the other defender was eyes towards the ball, Jim. And that's where you just have to basically, if you have to tackle your own player to keep him from running through the receiver, you do what you got to do, but that's just an inexcusable penalty.
Well, that'll set the ball on the 2-yard line. First down and goal now for Olivet. 6:02 to play here in this contest. Porter signaling to the sideline, and he gets the signal back. He'll go under center again. He's got Washington as he's running back. Doubles to the top. He'll send his tight end in motion, and he'll go from the left side to the right side. Then he'll turn and hand to Washington, and the pile drives close to the goal line.
Jerome Washington on the carry.
Jerome just inside the 1.
Jerome Washington comes up just a little bit shy. So it'll be second down and goal, and this time you're at the 1-foot line.
I don't see them risking throwing a lob pass. I see a quarterback sneak or a power run.
Porter keeps it, and with second effort, he will cross the plane.
And again, he's 6'5".
Yeah.
He falls forward. That's 2.5 yards right there. So
39-19 with what has been about the most difficult play of the afternoon for the Olivet Comets, and that's the extra point try. Past that, they've done pretty well this afternoon, but the extra points have been a total challenge.
But you can't give up on it either, Jim.
And they will leave the offense, it looks like, on the field as Porter's still in the huddle.
I think you have to keep executing until you get it. You're comfortably ahead by 20 points right now. I think you have to keep executing that kick until you get it.
Well, and you know, a 2 right now, okay, really does become beneficial to you if you can get it in. So they'll try for 2. Washington in the backfield. They'll pitch to him. He'll sweep left side, and there's absolutely nobody there to even come close to stopping him. So no containment down there on the 2-yard line as the Comets easily score the 2 and make it a 41-19 ball game. So 22 points. So you're a point over that 3 touchdowns. And I don't know exactly what's going on with this defense today, but they're really having difficulties here in Olivet.
The runs up the gut are getting good yardage, and that's forcing them to bunch. And the Comets are doing an excellent job of seeing the way the defense is reacting, and they're making some really heads-up play calls. Everybody bunches middle, you go toss sweep. One time they ran a toss sweep, and they nearly turned the ball over, but beyond that, it's been pretty well flawless execution by the Comets.
Britt's about to get the football back here. And the Comets have scored 3 out of the last 4 times here with the football. The only break in the middle is actually the Wickens return for 2. They've got the last 3 scores. This ball will be kicked towards the home sideline, and it will drive Zarnecki back to the goal line. Looking for some help as he comes right up the middle of the football field, but runs into nothing but a pack of red shirts. He'll get to the 20, maybe the 21, and then be tossed back And the Brits will have the football right around the 20-yard line.
Jim,
and the rain now starting to come down a little harder.
Trine leads Kalamazoo midway through quarter number 3, 35-7 with 7:24 to play in quarter number 3. And we are still scoreless at Aurora. 5:43 to play quarter number 1. Alma on the road against Aurora, 0-0.
Well, it's been a day where both offenses have not had troubles cranking out the yards. 397 total yards of offense now for Olivet. 304 total yards for the Britons here this afternoon. 45 plays for the Brits, and they're about to run 46. The number 46 right now as Thomas is in the backfield. In fact, we've changed horses right now. That's Blanzy in the backfield as he turns and hands the ball to Zarnecki, who gets a couple right up the center of the field. So Thomas's day may be done as Sam Blanzy comes back into the game, and he'll take over the quarterbacking duties here in the third quarter. Blanzy again, 6'3", 215. He's a junior. Zarnecki to his left as he lines in the pistols, doubles to the top, single to the bottom. He's going to throw this one. And basically a wrestling match going on around the midfield stripe, but the ball thrown a little bit too far and over the head of Tyler Sykes. Ball will be incomplete, and it will set up a third down now and 8.
Adams stride for stride in coverage. The reason no penalty flag in that case, Jim, is he's leaning on him a little, but he's not making any contact to move him off his path to the ball.
Sykes will have single coverage here. He's on the home side all by himself. Blanzy lost the football on the snap, and he had to fall on it inside the 20 at the 19. And the Brits offense in the third quarter is doing nothing but sputtering here. And Blanzy, only good news for Sam is he gets to stay on the field to kick it away. So they lost about 4 on that whole series as they'll set up a 4th down and 14. And Blanzy about ready to kick this football back to Bryce Johnson, who's standing at his 45-yard line. Clock at 4:23 and counting, third quarter. Here comes the rush. It's a good one. Blanzy gets even a better kick away. Drives Johnson back to his 40. Now he heads towards the visitor sideline, and he will be submarined at the 43 and knocked down right there. Trey Edwards on the tackle for the Brits. But it will be Olivet football now on their 42-yard line. In fact, the 43-yard line. First down and 10.
Jim, how this game has changed on one play in the first half. 50-some seconds to go. Quarter number 2, 20-17. Britons couldn't get a stop on 4th and 4. They go down the Comets and put it in the end zone, 27-17 at halftime. And they have not looked back. The only 2 points the Britons have scored in the second half have been on the botched extra point attempt. Beyond that, it has been all Olivet.
And again, now the time of possession just about even, 20 minutes apiece.
And you're going to see, I think, the time of possession, unless they score quickly on some of these runs, it's going to go drastically in the favor of the Comets.
They take the ball to Washington. They come around the left end, and that is 46 Matthew Ellis on that sweep. He's been coming in motion like that all day long, and this time they hand it to him. He crosses the 50. He's in Brits territory at the 41-yard line. It'll be first down now and 10 after a big pickup of about 16.
Yep, and when we talk about when teams build a big lead, do some teams play at that point just to run the clock out, or do you play to win? That's the kind of play you call when you're just playing to win.
Washington again, the only running back. They go back under center with Porter. They'll bring that same running back in motion, and this time they will hand the ball to Washington, and Washington breaks through a nice hole on the left side, and he'll be close to the 30-yard line by the time the Brits knock him down. And I believe we're moving the sticks one more time.
That will be a first down just inside the chains right there as we go down to 3 minutes, 30 seconds to play in quarter number 3, 41-19 Comets lead.
First down at 10, Olivet.
And that'll make Comet first down.
Rain continues to fall, and I'll tell you what, when you're having a day like the Britons are having, that rain is effective. It's affecting your attitude. It's affecting everything that you have. When you're having a day like Olivet, they said, did it rain that afternoon? I can't remember.
They enjoy it.
I think it was a nice, sunny, 75-degree day that Saturday afternoon that we had that good day against the Britons. Turn and handoff again goes to Washington. This time the Britons right
and look,
there.
Again, Jim, sticking behind the line of scrimmage, and he gets a gain of 3 on the play.
Washington on the carry.
Wrap him up, and he drives right through you, basically.
Yep, just kept the legs moving. The good running backs will do that.
Tyler George was the guy, I think, that hit him, but George not able to knock him down, and then there were 2 or 3 other Brits that had to help to just make that a 3-yard pickup. 2nd down and 7 here for Olivet. 2:31 playing the quarter, and Harvey comes all the way from one side of the field over to Jodway, and he's going to have to take on Jacob Jodway one-on-one. Fake the handoff. Porter going to throw. Home sideline, ball picked up, and Rayshawn Robinson almost pulled it down. Robinson undercut Saxton, and the ball hit, I think, both of them and bounced right up in the air, and he had a chance, Rayshawn, to pull it down, but I don't think he could locate it quick enough.
I think you have to run plays like that, even though that one was almost intercepted. You have to run that pass at this point just often enough that they don't throw 10 in the box against you.
White and Saxton go up to the top of the screen right at this point in time, along with Andre Houston.
Very late substitution as McMinn checks in, number 2.
McMinn's on this side. Back to the pistol look here for the quarterback. And he looks to throw that screen to McMinn underneath, and Brits have it snuffed out, but McMinn will get a couple to the 25. It'll set up a 4th down now and about 3.
You think you're going to go for it?
Well, they haven't done anything different all day long, have they?
Well, I mean, it would be a 42-yard field goal, and you've had trouble doing an extra point.
Yeah,
to the extent where I think the coaching staff has basically given up on the kick, so you're certainly not going to kick it from here.
Mark it at the 25-yard line, so it's 4 that they need, as they need to get just inside the 21. 4th down, pistol look again. Washington to the left, triples to the top. No wide receivers here on the bottom, but they do have a tight end on the home side. Quarterback drops, looks to throw in the middle of the field, and you got a guy wide open, but he overthrew him. Oh, my goodness. Thomas White somehow, again, all by himself in the middle of the end zone, and Porter just basically overthrew him.
I think that's only the 2nd overthrow he's had today. He's had a nearly perfect day.
So that stops the clock with 1:19 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Gives the ball back to the Britons on their own 25-yard line. And what has been a miserable 3rd quarter of offense for the Britons needs to change if they're going to have any hope in this football game. They're down 3 touchdowns plus a 2-point conversion. Fake, throw, brother to brother, Blanzy to Blanzy there. Short pick up to the 30, but that's 5 on 1st down. Gotta like that. Wonder how many times they've done that one at the in the old backyard football game there at when they're at their home.
Just need to sustain this drive, Jim.
2nd down and 5. Blanzy pump fake up the sideline, thrown a little bit too far for Koski, and out of bounds right in front of the Britons bench.
And his reward for running that pattern is about 15 gallons of water.
Water standing everywhere on this football field today. Rain just continuing to pound down here on a Saturday afternoon. Lights have been on since the early portion of this football game. Very gray day. Umbrellas all up. Everybody trying to stay dry. Britons trying to get 5 yards on 3rd down to keep this drive alive. Here comes the blitz. Blanzy gets rid of it, but he had to rush it, trying to throw to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki got popped at the 33-yard line. Incompleted pass. 4th down. Britt's going to have to kick this thing away again.
That was close to a personal foul penalty right there, Jim. It's quite a bit after that ball fell incomplete that he took that shot, but no call.
So Johnson will drop back deep. He'll be standing on his own 35-yard line.
What do you call this, seasonal affective disorder? Is that what that is?
I think so.
When the sun forgets to shine in the Midwest.
46 ticks left in the 3rd quarter. Here comes the rush. Blanzy got another high boom and catch. Johnson fair catches inside the 30-yard line at the 29-yard line. And it'll be Olivet football 1st down and 10 as we're ready to run the 3rd quarter out. And I think everybody for the Britton sideline are going to be happy to get rid of this 3rd quarter because it has been a disaster for both ends.
The Britons have had a very tough third quarter, but folks, I can tell you, you're going to have a lot of fun at homecoming as Albion College celebrates homecoming this coming week, October 20 and 21. See albion.edu/homecoming for a list of events. That's coming up this week, folks, so make your plans now.
We will be there. We'll bring you the ball game, full video this next weekend. Olivet comes back out. Lane Porter still in the football game. Jerome Washington still his running back. He'll set up in the pistol look with Washington to his right and a step behind him. Doubles to the top, singles to the bottom. Brits show run blitz. Washington runs right by it. He's on his feet at the 40, up the home sideline at the 50, 40, 35, and run out of bounds at the 20-yard line as Harvey gave him a shove at about the 30, and Washington just said, nah, that's not going to knock me out. I'll just keep going, and they finally run him out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
He's going to check himself out after that play. Looking just a little bit gimpy right there, but
58 yards on that one. He just needs some oxygen, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think he expected to go that far.
On a day like today, Jim, every running back is having success touching the rock.
Hand off now to the running back that came in, Jamal Martin. And Jamal
again, Jim,
still on his feet.
No tackling.
Reverses his field, 10-yard line, down to the 5, headed towards the middle of the football field. Nobody tackled him. He just busted it out around the end at that point in time, and what should have been basically no gain ends up getting a nice gain of about 16 yards as it's first down and goal, and the third quarter now will come to an end.
Thank goodness.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
I don't like that third quarter. Let's forget that thing ever happened.
I agree. Jamal Martin with a nice run, the 5'9", 160 sophomore out of Inkster.
5'9", 160, and he's running through 4 tackles.
Yep.
That just cannot happen on defense, Jim.
Coach Rundle and his guys have a lot of talking to do before they get ready for Alma coming to town next week, because they just have to go back to the basics, Jimmy. I agree with you. That's all that's missing right now. It's just plain old simple tackling and blocking. And at this afternoon and at this juncture, they're having a hard time with that.
Football's not a hard game.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
When you look at the fundamentals, throw, catch, run, protect the ball. Basically, right, on offense?
That's about it.
Be in your spot, do your job, wrap up on defense. That's it. That's all it is. But, obviously team scheme, things change, momentum being what it is, the weather being what it is. You can say anything you want, but football is really a handful of fundamental basics, and that's it. It isn't more complex than that.
Ball walks to the other end of the field. They set it down on the 5-yard line, and everybody in the red jersey right now doing a little country stomp going on here.
This is your favorite song, isn't it?
They're all having a lot of fun out here.
Joe.
There you go. Ball sits on the 5-yard line of the Britons. It is first down and goal for Olivet. Lane Porter brings them on out. He'll line up under center. Jamal Martin is the running back in the deep I. He's got a receiver to the top and a receiver to the bottom. That's Saxton on the bottom. It's Jodway on the top. Ball's on the ground. Quarterback picks it up and finds his way into the end zone. It's just one of those afternoons. Man, that ball came back. He dropped it right on the 5-yard line, had enough time to be able to scoop it up and then look up. Nobody around him, just ran towards the right end. And by the time he got there, there was nothing but red turf sitting in front of him there in the end zone, and he kind of lunged in for the easy score, 47-19.
Shows you how well the blocking was and how well that play was designed. Rolling right for a toss sweep, lost the handle right there, but because the blocking was so good, driving the defensive line of the Britons away, you could allow that ball to hit the turf, pick it up, and he probably still had the option of either running or pitching right there, but he kept it, kept the legs moving as they've done all day, and they put it in the end zone.
And they'll go for 2 again. Porter goes under center. He'll fake the handoff, roll to his right, throw to the back of the end zone, and it's almost picked off and then almost dropped, as that ball actually did get through to Trenton Monroe, and Monroe couldn't find the handle. So the extra point fails again, and it's 47-19.
And Lane Porter at the end of that play, trying to extend that rolling to his right, took a shot right on their sideline. So, again, at some point, you're going to have to try a kick. You can't just give up on what kind of message does that send to your kicker? You know what I mean?
Yep.
We don't trust you to do your job, basically, is what it is. So at some point, you're going to need to take your quarterback out of harm's way. Don't take unnecessary chances and trust your kicker to execute right there. But again, when you're up as much as they are, you can afford to do that.
So the Britons are about ready to get the football back again. We're just underway in the fourth quarter, 5 seconds in, and the Britons find themselves down 4 scores, 47-19. So the game's not over yet, but boy, I'll tell you what, that offense is going to have to come playing here pretty quickly, or this one is in the books as another loss in the conference.
Give you a conference score update, speaking of which, right after this kick return.
Rayshawn Robinson now inside the 10-yard line on the visitor sideline. Pat Zarnecki on the home side, and they chose Robinson this time. He'll catch it at the 5, come up the left side, stays on his feet at the 30, out across the 35, and then a big splash at about the 37-yard line, and that's where the Britons will have the football as they open things up, and they'll mark him on the 36, and they'll say that the Sly gave him an extra 3 or 4, and they'll bring it back to where he first saw the rooster tail here this afternoon.
At the start of quarter number 4, Trine leads Kalamazoo 35-7, and early in quarter number 2, 12:52 to play in the first half, Alma leads at Aurora 7-6.
This is the third series now for Sam Blanzy at quarterback. He replaced Kyle Thomas here early in this third quarter, and he's in that pistol look. He's got Zarnecki to his left. He's got triples here on the home side, a single receiver to the top. Can the Brits pull off some miracles? He throws it out to Cullen Powell. It's a little bit low. Powell has to go down to try to get it. He can't pick it up. Either way, I think his knee might have been on the ground if he'd pulled it in, so that would have been a loss of a couple if he'd have pulled it in, but that pass just not had enough smoke to get out here. You got to throw the ball, man. Throw the ball. Might be a little wet at this point in time, I'm sure, but boy, that one just seemed to float. Second down, no gain. 10 to go for the Brits. Clock stopped with 14:43 to play in the ball game. Blanzy again drops back. Hands the ball off this time, and it is Martin, I believe, with the football this time. I'm sorry, Freeman with the football. And nope, let's go back one more time. Mitchell with the football, 36. Till they make that turn down there, it's kind of hard to see the number, but that was Elverson Mitchell with the run. He got 2, third down and 8, and this has been pretty much the amount of offense that we've generated here in this second half. Third down and 8, and then punt. Let's hope it changes. Blanzy drops, throwing deep, and Sykes really couldn't get to it. That ball thrown kind of at us out. Sykes was running an in, and it fell harmlessly down at the 25-yard line of Olivet, and it will be 4th down and 8. And the Brits will have to kick the ball again back to the Comets of Olivet.
Billy Kirkendall, number 5 in coverage right there. He's kind of playing center field.
Oh, a little weather as we watch the weather map here Mr. Reeker gave us, and oh my goodness, look at that.
Beautiful.
I think it's going to get nice here about Thursday.
It's a Jackson Pollock.
It is. Nice big kick, and Johnson fair catches, loses the football, but there's nobody around him, so he falls on it back around the 21-yard line.
Johnson falls on the ball at 20-yard line.
Nice job by Kyle Winchell to get down there on coverage, but man, that ball hit him and bounced away from him, and he got on it so quickly that Winchell really no chance to recover that one.
And that's one of the toughest plays you can make as a kick or a punt returner, especially a punt returner, having to go almost on a dead sprint for that ball, Jim. That ball tailing away, and you just do the best you can. And in a case like that, it's fortunate to fall on it, not have anything worse happen.
And oh, by the way, it's kind of raining out here today too, isn't it, huh?
No, I'm tired of making that excuse, though. The ball's wet for both teams.
Just a little bit wet out here today, so the rain's still coming down. And I'm sure if you're back in Albion or anywhere around this central Michigan area, you know what we're talking about. Washington again finds a big hole in the middle of the football field, and he's across the 30 to the 31-yard line. He'll have enough for the first down. He got 11 as they mark him down there. Slates makes the tackle along with Carter. And again, when you have Slates and Carter making tackles here all afternoon long, that means you're somewhere 5, 6, 7, 8 yards down the football field at least.
Aurora's taken a 13-7 lead, Jim. 12.5 to play, quarter number 2. They put another touchdown up.
First down and 10. Snap comes back. Throw out to Sexton at the top of the field, and that little flanker screen. He'll catch the football, be knocked out of bounds pretty much at the line of scrimmage. They'll say you got to step up the field, so he'll get 1. He still needs a couple of yards, I think, today to be able to get what he needs.
That's the first catch he's had for a little while, so he should still be probably about 8-9 yards short.
He's got 61 now. He needs 11 yards to tie and 12 yards.
That's right.
I think.
I think he caught the ball a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage, so he actually lost a couple previously.
To be the number 1 receiver not only in catches but also in yardage here for Olivet in their history. And he would love to get it here on this Saturday afternoon. He's got 12 minutes and 47 seconds left to make it happen. Doubles to the home side here, single to the top.
Not out there right now.
Single running back in the backfield, right behind the quarterback, and they'll hand the ball. And this time the Brits saw it coming. They had Jameel Martin for a loss of a couple. Jamal Martin will lose about 3. Rodriguez makes the tackle for the Britons, and it's third down now at about 12. Now Sexton does check right back into the ball game along with Jacob Jodway.
I'd throw him a screen pass right here, see if you can get him in space.
Jodway now runs off the football field, and they brought in number 20. 20 is Cole Scepter, who is a freshman. Well, they got him as a defensive back, so I guess I don't know whether we're talking about the right 20 or whether there's another 20 out here. Third down at about 12. They'll go under center. Porter now wants to jump up real quick and call a timeout as he was running out of play clock. That'll be the first timeout of the second half for either one of these teams. And it sets the Olivet Comets over to the sideline to talk about some things, and the defense for the Britons go up to the top of the field to chat a little bit. We're at the 11:46 mark here of this football game, and just to give you an idea, the Britons here in this second half have just absolutely had a difficult afternoon trying to make something happen.
Just as a precaution, go to Cutler Event Center.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to say that it's probably going to keep raining, too.
I think it is, too. At the end of one, it was 12-10. Great ball game. Olivet ahead of Albion here, 12-10 at the end of one. They scored 15, Olivet did in that second quarter. And to your point, Jimmy, that score late in that half really may have turned this whole ball game around. Brits put a 7 spot on the board, went down 27-17 at the half. And now this afternoon in the second half, only 2 points, and that was on a muffed extra point that the Britons ran back for 2. Past that, the offense really has just sputtered, while the Olivet Comets have put 20 points on this on that scoreboard here in the second half.
And this has kind of been the season so far for the Britons, Jim. Second half, they're not showing up on offense.
Martin again, the running back in the backfield. He's in that deep I. They go back under center again. Porter drops. Hands off to Martin. Martin tries the left side. Stiff arms a guy, gets around the corner, then he gets knocked out of bounds just inside. And they're going to say he actually went out at about the 38-yard line. And we have a holding call against Olivet. So it'll set up a fourth down and about 3 or 4. Or you could take the holding call and move them backwards. Now, I'm almost of the opinion you take the holding call right now, because the way that Olivet has scored and the way that Olivet has converted on fourth down this afternoon, I think the more yardage you can make happen, you make, and you try to maybe get a little better field position because of it. So they'll walk the ball all the way back to the 20, take another step to the 19,
you think
and
they would have
deposit
gone
it right
for it?
there. Who knows, man? They're up 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, they're up 4 scores.
They've not had their foot off the throttle all afternoon. Every time they've gotten to the point where they needed a punt, most of the time they don't. So it's just been an interesting afternoon.
Well, we always talk about teams that usually build a good lead will sometimes coast to a victory. This is a team that's playing to win. I got to respect that.
Sexton's in the flank here on the home sideline, and Thomas, the wide receiver here. Jodway, the wide receiver on the visitor's side. Martin in the backfield. They will hand the ball to Martin, and Martin is not going anywhere this time. Britton's all over him. They knock him down for no gain, and it will be fourth down now and about 20 for the Comets, and this time they will send their punter out on the field.
I think they're going to punt this time. 4th and a country mile. I don't know that you need to go for it here.
Gunnar Aper on the field here. He has had a relatively easy afternoon. Jordan Carter drops back. He'll stand at his 40-yard line to wait this kick. And again, the rain just keeps coming. Not as hard right now as it has been all day long, but it has been a downpour ever since the opening kick. When we got here, it was raining lightly, but then it started to rain and just continued to rain. And as we look at the weather map, it's going to rain for a while. Brits almost got this one, but he got it away. Ball bounces away from Carter and rolls inside the 35, and they will down at 34. And the Brits really had an all-out blitz going on that rush. Anrot got close. Had a little help over there with a couple of his teammates. I think Quentin Jackson, one of the other guys that were in kind of close on that rush. Couldn't quite get to it. The kick got off. It was a nice one. And it was kicked kind of sideways and weird, and Carter really had a hard time and a hard decision whether he went after that one or whether he let it bounce. He decided to let it bounce, and it took an Olivet roll all the way inside the 35.
Like you said, with the Britons selling out for a punt block right there, which you have to do given that situation and what the score is. You don't have any blockers on the punt return, so even if you field that line drive bouncing ball in the rain, you're not going to have anybody blocking you.
Blanzy going to throw this one to Colin Poor, and it went right through his hands and landed at his feet. It's been that kind of an afternoon. Little flanker screen that we've seen him run so many times. Couple blockers there. Poor can't get the ball in his hands. And the incompletion stops the clock with 10:29 and makes it 2nd down and 10. Mitchell, again, the running back in the left here of Blanzy. I think Blanzy wanted to hand him the ball, but he's forced to keep it. And Sam will go forward for about 3.
I think everybody was a bit surprised that Blanzy was running that one.
I think
I don't think he was the only one who was surprised by
Mitchell ran right by him, and Blanzy had that look like, you forgot to take this thing that I have standing out in front of me right now.
That's the 2nd time that's happened to the Britons.
Had to pull it back in. He made the most of it. He got about 4 on that carry. Blanzy drops, looks to throw, across the middle. Got his guy, but he drops it. That's Koski. Right on the money at the 47-yard line. That would have been, I think, the first down of the second half for the Britons. But instead, Koski, who had the ball right on the money, let it slide right through his hands, and that's the 2nd drop on that series. And it's another 3 and out for the Brits. I don't think they've got a first down in the second half yet, Jim.
They might not.
This has been 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out all afternoon here, this second half, unfortunately. So the Britons will kick this one away, and they do. Johnson drops back. He'll let it bounce and bounce past him. It'll roll inside the 10 and be stopped at the 1. No, it's going to make its way in the end zone. 3 Britons had a chance almost to keep that one on the right side of that goal line, but they couldn't make it happen.
And really, Jim, if that second player hadn't touched it, that ball was deflected back out. If you let that go, that might have stayed inside the 1, but as it stands, touchback coming out. Comets with the ball, 9:45 to play in the game, up 28.
First down at 10 now for the Comets. And now I would expect that you would see something that appears to be a time-killing effort here by the home team so that everybody can get out of the rain.
42-7, Trine leads Kalamazoo. 9:43 to play in the contest, and with 7 minutes to play in the first half. Aurora now holds a 13-10 lead over Alma. Alma gets a field goal to cut the lead to 3.
And let's see what we do. We have, I think, a change in quarterback right now. Horses have been changed. I don't believe we're going to see any more of Lane Porter. I think it's Eric Boyce, 13, I believe, the quarterback, who's now under center, and we can't see a number, but he is not 6'5". That is Boyce. Turns and hands to Martin. Martin gets gobbled up at the line of scrimmage at the 20. So you go from Eric Boyce, who is 5'11", and they claim 230 pounds on the program right now. I'm not going for that one maybe quite that much. But the definite change from Lane Porter, who's 6'5" and every bit of 250, down to a fellow who's under 6 foot tall, and when he lines up under center, it's hard to even see his helmet. And with his replacement, or the gentleman he's replacing, it did look like Ben Roethlisberger sitting back in that pocket.
He was every bit of 6'5", Jim.
No doubt about that. He'll go under center again. He'll turn again, and again he'll hand to the running back, which is Martin. Britt's trying to strip the football, and now it's getting a little bit chippy on the field. Now a little pushing and shoving. Martin gets 3 on the second down tote, out to the 23.5, maybe the 24, so we'll give him 4. We'll call it 3rd down and 6.
I think Harvey with the shove right there at the end just needs to realize that Olivet didn't ask for it to rain today.
Nope.
It's not Olivet's fault that it rained. Mother Nature.
Ellis now the running back to the left of the quarterback. And Boyce will line up now in the pistol. He's got doubles to the top, single to the bottom. 3rd down at about 7. They'll turn and hand it off. And
again, Jim.
Britz again failed to wrap the back up in the backfield. He'll skirt out on the left side, and Matthew Ellis will be just about a yard shy of the 1st down. It will be 4th down and 1. And here comes the kick team back on the football field.
I was going to say, I'm not sure where the contemplation or discussion is here. You're up comfortably. There isn't much time left. Maybe keep them in suspense for a few seconds, but I don't see any need nor reason to go for it.
Just tuned in, it's 47-19. The Britons on the short end of that scoreboard.
27-17 at the half.
Carter back, low snap. Punter can't come up with it. Britt's going to have great field position as the ball's at the 12, 13-yard line, I guess.
And if that young man had tried to stand up with that ball, Jim Funderburg, he had 3 guys who were, I think, essentially flying at him at that point. So he fell on the ball right there and avoided what not only could have been a bad turnover, but also a wicked hit.
Ball just kind of rolled back between his legs on the ground the whole way. Aper didn't have a chance to really even field that thing. Looked for it first, trying to find it, and then just fell on it wisely at the 13-yard line. 1st down and 10 Brits.
Coaches in Little League always tell you got to get that glove dirty, got to get your knee down right there. Although if you have your knee down when you're catching that one, the play's dead. So
Mitchell, the running back, he's to the right now of Blanzy. And the Britons really not totally out of this thing, but they're going to have to score right now. They hand to Mitchell. Mitchell breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet at the 5, and he's going in for the touchdown. Nice job by Mitchell. Looked like he was dead to rights at the 8, but he somehow spun out of that tackle, and once he made the spin, there was nobody between him and the goal line. And the Brits, just like that, have their 25th point of the afternoon with the extra point coming.
A little bit of life left in the Britons after the mistake on the punt right there, the low snap. Albion capitalizes one play later with a touchdown run. Still 7:22 to play in the ball game.
Coach Rundle is 16-4 against these guys in his 20 years, but boy, I'll tell you what, it's going to take a miracle to get win number 17 this afternoon. But hey, you know what? We've seen miracles before. Nice snap. Fabry kicks it through the uprights, and the Brits now down 47-26. Now I guess the question, Jimmy, is when do you start onside kicking, huh? I got to believe you just go at it right now. What do you have to lose? You need the football back, and if you can get an onside kick, the momentum just swung a little bit your way with that one. Onside kick and another score, the momentum's going a little more your way, and you almost need some sort of miracle right now to happen for you. That might as well happen right now for my money.
And the ball being tough to handle because of the elements.
Yeah.
And the darn near torrential rainpour we've had up here in Olivet, Michigan. Might make it challenging to field, and I think the coach has heard you.
I think Olivet going with their hands team right now, deploying a whole lot of 2s and 3s and 4s and 10s and 11s out on this football field right now. 85s, 25s, 17s.
Now I kick it deep.
There you go.
I kick it deep to the right side, Jim.
Yep. You do have an opportunity.
Although you have the bunch.
Looks like everything's coming to the home side with this kick. Fabry waiting for the signal. Ball at the 35-yard line, and here it comes. Little bouncer on the ground, but it's covered by Olivet at the 47-yard line. One of those 80 numbers, at 85 for the Olivet. 85, I don't have on my sheet.
85 is Nick Thomas, the junior tight end out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
There you go. Thomas,
near our hometown.
Ball just kind of bounced right his way. He did exactly what you're supposed to. Curl it up nicely and lay on that ground.
And those onside kicks, usually that second hop, you're looking for that high skip right there. And that was more of a, just a ground ball to the shortstop.
Yeah, that was a routine play, as they would say, as we're heading towards the World Series.
Yep.
All right, Olivet now goes back to quarterback number 1 as Lane Porter just got a little brief respite after that touchdown by the Britons. He's back on the field. Pistol look, turns around, hands to Washington. Washington, a lot of room on the right side. He'll have a first down inside the 35 at the 31-yard line. And again, well, I'll tell you what, the right side of that offensive line, think about this, Jimmy. Matthew Rowan is a senior, 6'3", 295. That's a right tackle. Mitchell Jorgensen's their right guard, 6'3", 305. Another senior, and Jacob Stuller, their senior center. And when they need yardage, they come over here to this right side, and there are doors open at every portal. Turn Washington again, right side again, dragging Brits, 35-yard line. That was Jacob Wickens that had a hold of him, but he was just riding him through the hole before a couple other Britons were able to knock him down after a pickup of about 7.
Without seeing closely if they made a change back on offensive line, the only thing that changes is the quarterback.
Yeah.
So if the run defense was as tough as it was the last drive with a different quarterback, and all this quarterback is doing is handing off to the same running back, what changed?
Well, I think the motivation changed just a little bit. The Britons scored a touchdown and took them off that 4-touchdown comfort zone, and all of a sudden now everybody in a red jersey decided maybe we better ratchet this thing up a notch here one more time and not let that happen to us.
Don't coast.
Yep. 2nd down and 2. Turn. Washington. He'll have the first down as he crosses the 20. Ball will be spotted at the 19 with 5:54 to play here in this football game. Rodriguez on the tackle for the Britons, and again, when you have middle linebackers making tackles, you know that 3 and 4 yards that they needed, they already have in their pocket. 47-26, clock is rolling, 5:39 to play here in the ball game. And Olivet taking their time, allowing that play clock to go. 15 seconds on the play clock. They're not taking it all the way down to 5, but they will let it slide inside that 10 mark. Now it's down to 6, 5. Now he'll sit and wait for a minute. 3, 2, snap it at 1, turn, hand it to Martin, and he will get down across the 15 to the 14-yard line. Jamal comes back in.
Jamal Martin on the carry for the Comets.
2nd down now and about 6 as he got 4. And we're under 5 minutes to play in this football game. We will give you a quick wrap-up on this one once it's done, and we'll get out of a very rainy Olivet, head back towards the sunnier confines of Ohio, actually, this afternoon as we head back down that direction. And we'll be back up into Michigan next week at Albion to bring you that Albion-Alma contest for homecoming. And hopefully a little nicer afternoon and a much better afternoon when it comes to the results. 4.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Snap goes back to the quarterback. He hands to Martin. Martin goes left side, runs into a wall of Britons, and then is thrown for about a 1-yard loss back at about the 16-yard line.
Jordan Carter, number 5, comes up and runs support from the right-hand side to make the stop. Aurora extends its lead 19-10 over Alma with 3.5 to play first half, and Trine still comfortably up on Kalamazoo 42-7. Just over 5.5 to play in the game.
And again tonight, 6 o'clock, Hope and Adrian is a ball game that will be worth watching a little bit later on in the day. We're under 4 minutes to play in the ball game. It's 3rd down now and 7 for Olivet. And they have, again, Matthew Ellis as the running back in to the right of Lane Porter, who's in the pistol at the 20. He lets the clock go all the way down to 2 seconds. He turns and hands it to Ellis. Ellis tries left side, and every time they go to the left, they get a yard, maybe 2, and every time they go to the right, they get 6, maybe 8, or 18, or 58. So whatever it might be. That makes it 4th down, though, and 6.
What if the kicker's lobbying to come out right now? Give me a shot.
You know, it hasn't really been the kicker, has it? It's been the snap.
It's been the snap.
Snap going back has been suspect, and that's about all that Olivet has had this afternoon that has been at all suspect in this football game, as they have a 47-26 lead. Game clock goes down to next to nothing, and I think Olivet called a timeout.
I mean, they played a brilliant game.
Yeah, they have played extremely well,
strong,
especially the second half.
Yeah.
It was a whale of a football game at the half with the Brits right in it. And then again, the second half, Britons have just not been able to come up with any offense in the second half.
Albion Hope scoreless men's soccer, 1:33 to play in half number 1. Albion on the road at Hope today. Again, women's soccer, Adrian defeated Albion at Albion 1-0. Good for some other Albion scores as well. We'll scoot back up to MIAA.org and look up the football updates. And again, a reminder to go to GoBrits.com for all of your fall sports updates. Football and, of course, many other great activities going on.
You know what?
Not only at campus, but off campus.
They're over on the Britain sideline talking to Coach Rundle right now, and this is the thing that's worrisome right now at this moment. We've come out that they see lightning maybe in the air somewhere right now because we got a delay in the game right now. The ball is sitting down on the 15-yard line. It is 4th down and 6. There's a huge conversation going on now on the Brit sideline, so I don't know what it is. It's total speculation on my part. But you wonder if maybe at 2:53, lightning strike. There you go. Kenny shows me a lightning strike off his telephone.
Said it's 16 miles away. You can't see 16 miles away. Give me a break.
Yep. But if somebody sees a lightning strike and somebody was on the sideline with an umbrella and a slicker on, that looks like maybe someone with some authority and power, I would hope you would be able to play the last 3 minutes of this ball game out, because it's only going to take about that long, especially if you're playing right now. I have not seen any other signs of lightning today. It's been just a gray, dreary, nasty day, but not a lot of thunder and lightning. But it has to be that they're discussing, I would think, on the sideline. And if that's what you're discussing, instead of waiting the necessary time to wait this thing out, I think you roll the 2:53 off the clock. We put everybody on the bus and we head out of here.
Yep.
If you're that concerned about lightning. But, boy, right now, the rain really has slowed down a little bit. It's still raining, but it's not a heavy rain like we saw.
And I see the representative from Olivet College who came out to alert the officials on a cell phone right now. I think the kicker made the sound of thunder right behind the officials so that they could stop the game long enough for him to convince the coach to go out and try a field goal. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I think that might be the best explanation.
I'm 44% sure that's what happened. Maybe 45%.
So we've got less than 3 minutes to play in this football game, and we have everything at a standstill here as we're waiting to see whether we're going to be allowed to continue to play or whether we're going to have to take a little bit of a breather or what we actually do. I don't know what the options are, but I would have to believe one of the options is you say the game's over because it is so out of hand at this point in time, and we go home rather than wait for a half an hour for this thing to get going again.
I think you just go ahead and high five and you get on the bus.
That's going to be the end of it. I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
High fives.
This ball game is going to go in the books, and it's going to go in the books at 47-26 as they saw lightning in the area, I'm sure.
Wait. They're just going to the locker room.
Okay. Are they just going to the locker room? Oh, my gosh. We're going to the locker room and wait this thing out with 2:53 to play in the ball game. And a 47-26 contest right now. Brits down 21.
Now's a good time to remind folks you can email us at webcast@albion.edu and let us know whether it's raining where you are around the state or around the country. And again, if you are in California or Florida and the weather's really nice and you want to send us a picture of the sand and the surf, feel free. I could use the uplift. I'm feeling a little bit of seasonal affective disorder myself right now, Jim.
I am too. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a little while now before we play this last 3 minutes out of this football game. And we're just going to hang here with you.
Folks, we are in a lightning delay, 30 minutes.
So we have a 30-minute lightning delay right now. And everybody has to leave the stadium and get to some safety.
Maybe stop by the concession stand on the way out.
I think that's probably what most of these folks are probably going to do. I would guess that the vast majority of them are wet enough at this point in time that they're ready to go for the house.
I'll get a hot chocolate.
And we'll sit here and wait this one out for a half an hour until this one's over and done with. But, again, kind of a unique situation. Obviously, we're very concerned with safety. We don't want anybody to be hurt. We don't want anybody injured in a situation like this. But you do have a 21-point game with Olivet in possession of the football deep in Albion territory, with an opportunity to, I don't know, who
to
knows?
not kick a field goal.
To probably take a knee and
to
give
go
you the
forward
football
on
back.
fourth down, probably.
But at that point in time, the lightning strike was seen by somebody, and at that point, everybody now will clear the stadium, and we will wait for a half an hour for this ball game to resume, as we have a lightning delay here at Olivet. I'll tell you what, we can go back through and just look at a few of the stats right now, and then we're going to take a break as well, because a half an hour of conversation right now is probably the last thing that you need to listen to as well.
I think they like the velvet tones of Jim and Jim.
Yeah, I don't know how we get through that entire thing. We've done it before. If you're just tuning in, everything started extremely well for the Britons. They took their first attempt after they stopped the Olivet possession and took it down the field with a 22-yard field goal that Fabry made to make it 3-0 early in the football game at the 9:26 mark. Olivet answered right away as they went the entire length of the field, 92 yards. A 92-yard pass from Porter to Jacob Jodway, which made it 6-3, and they missed the extra point on a bad snap. Zarnecki then made it a 10-6 game as he had a 3-yard run for a touchdown, and Fabry made the kick to make it 10-6. That was at the 2:48 mark of the first period. It didn't take Olivet very long as Jodway again on a 56-yard reception from Lane Porter made it 12-10, and the two-point conversion by Jamal Martin failed, so it stayed at 12-10. Albion went back up on top 17-12 when Brian Blanzy caught a 30-yard pass from Kyle Thomas. Kick was good, and just like that, it's 17-12. Then it was Olivet 3 in a row. Washington with a 52-yard run. The two-point conversion was good this time. It made it 20-17. Olivet again. Saxton with a 26-yard reception from Porter. And the extra point this time was kicked and was good, and it was 27-17. And that's how we ended that first half. In the opening stanza of the third quarter, it was Olivet on a Jerome Washington 14-yard touchdown run. The two-point conversion was intercepted and run the other direction, and that made the score 33-19 as Olivet scored 6 to make it 33, and the Wickens 98-yard return gave the Albion Brits the 19, and that's the only points they have scored here in the second half. Then Olivet went to work again offensively. Porter with a 1-yard run, two-point conversion rush by Washington was good. That made it 41-19. And then a 5-yard Porter run makes it 47-19. The two-point conversion failed. And then Freeman with a touchdown run at the 7:22 mark of the fourth quarter makes it Albion 26, Olivet 47. We stand there right now with 2:53 to play in the football game, and the game delayed now because of lightning. Brits down by 21, 47-26. When we do come back, it will be Olivet football on the 15-yard line, 4th down and 6. But we have about 25 minutes of waiting time right now. And with that, we're going to step away. We will be back to bring you the conclusion of this football game, so hang with us. Unfortunately, the outcome looks pretty much evident at this point in time as the Britons are down 47-26, and we need about 26 minutes left in this first lightning delay. So we'll step away. Kenny's going to play some music, I think do some dancing and whatever for a little while, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes here on the Britain Sports Network.
My name is Dan Musser. I graduated from Albion College in 1986, and I am president of Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. My career path here at the hotel really started when I was about 13 years old, and I worked for our butcher in the butcher shop. And I think the first day I cleaned out like 1,000 chickens and vowed never eat one ever again. But the light bulb that went off in me in this business was we used to have what's called a chef's table in the kitchen, where the whole staff would sit down about 4:30 in the afternoon and have dinner, family style, and you sat according to your position. So the chef with his big hat would sit at one end, and the pot washers would sit at the far end, and that's where I sat for the summer. And by the time the food got to the end of the table, let's just say I ate a lot of green beans that summer. What I got to know were people from different walks of life that I had yet to ever meet or imagine being in their shoes. And it changed, it kind of, like I said, it was a light bulb moment for me. I think it's best to try to do something you love, and I love this place, so I was fortunate enough to start right after college and haven't left. I've been fortunate to have a number of alumni work for us and gone on to different careers or in the hospitality field, but use this as a launching pad to that, which is great. I've worked hard to promote tourism on Mackinac Island. I started our first Conventions Visitors Bureau a number of years ago. I've also been part of the Pure Michigan ad campaign. I was fortunate enough to be appointed by 2 different governors to the Travel Commission to help form what's become the Pure Michigan campaign, and then gives us credibility here on Mackinac Island in a national setting that we could never afford or touch. And so those are a few of the things I've tried to do to promote tourism on Mackinac and for the hotel and the island and the region. A number of years ago, my mom and I helped start the Mackinac Community Foundation that now has a little more than $10 million at market, and generally we spend about 5% of that. And you imagine that's a big chunk to put back into this smaller community. Most of it helping the year-round residents, which is phenomenal. Grand Getaway started, quite frankly, with the downturn, which affected all of us, the college, Albion College, and Grand Hotel. We had rooms to sell, and at the time, we all thought, I was a trustee at the time, thought it might be a good way to kind of bring the troops in and to remind us all of the great experience we had at Albion and what's it's helped us in our later life.
My name is Anna Lewis. I'm a sophomore here at Albion College, graduating in the year of 2020. I'm a biology major and a psychology minor, and I am the recipient of the Grand Getaway Scholarship.
The scholarship program has touched me personally because of the many letters I receive each year from the recipients. They all have a common theme of, but for this and a few other lucky things that have happened in their life, they wouldn't have been at Albion. And all of them are just ecstatic about the opportunity to be there and experience the Albion experience, and I think that is the great thing about it.
As of right now, by my freshman year of college, I've received a pre-acceptance to Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. After my 4 years here at Albion, I will continue on to medical school right away, and I would love to become an orthopedic surgeon one day.
Well, I think philanthropy is a key part of a meaningful life, and Albion helped me discover that, I believe, in that helping others in any way is not only, it's warming, but I think also a moral and I think a Christian obligation.
Through this scholarship, I can continue to do the things I love here at Albion College. I'm a member of the Institute for Healthcare Professions, a member of the Alpha Chi Omega Beta chapter, and I'm also a psychology tutor here at school. I can help to continue give to the community and to other people through my knowledge, but I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't able to be here.
And Albion helped me realize that there is a moral contract that those of us are fortunate enough to have these wonderful educational and life experiences like Albion College provides, that we should do something like that. And like the scholarship, I really feel I'm more warmed by it and enriched in a way. I can't say more than the recipients, but I think as much.
한 잔의 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 너는 선어해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 그런 선어해 커피 식기도 전에 원샷 때리는 선어해 밤이 오면 심장이 터져버리는 선어해 그런 선어해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 성숙해 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 여자 이때다 싶으면 묶었던 머리 푸는 여자 가렸지만 웬만한 노출보다 야한 여자 그런 감각적인 여자 나는 선어해 점잖아 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 선어해 내가 되면 완전 미쳐버리는 선어해 근육보다 사상이 올통벌통한 선어해 그런 선어해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 B는 놈 그 위에 나는 놈 Baby baby 나는 뭘 좀 아는 놈 B는 놈 그 위에 나는 놈 Baby baby 나는 뭘 좀 아는 놈 You know what I'm saying 오빤 강남스타일 Hey sexy lady 오빤 강남스타일 Hey sexy lady 오빤 강남스타일
Hey there, this is Ergol. I'm a student from Mongolia and I work at the admissions office as an admissions associate. I'm making this video just to give you guys a little tour of Albion College and show you guys what kinds of buildings we have and how pretty the campus is. So I hope you guys like the video. The building behind me is Susanna Wesley Hall, or we usually call it Wesley. And that's where the freshman students live for the first year. The freshmen and the transfer students have to live in Wesley. It gets a little bit crazy sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. I remember my freshman year was pretty crazy. A lot of things happen in Wesley. But fun memories, really fun memories. So right now I'm in the Science Center and I absolutely love this building. I love this building. It's one of the buildings where I can just study and have a very quiet sense of atmosphere. This is where most of the pre-med students, biology, geology, physics, all the science students come to study. As I mentioned, this is the Science Center after all.
Hi, I'm Dave Ryman. I'm a professor of mathematics and computer science here at Albion College. And I just want to welcome all of the prospective students out there. Albion is a great place. We have a wonderful math and computer science program here, and would love to see you here as a student.
Yeah, my outfit changed. So, this is White House. It's a really convenient place where you can live in, and it's really close to the campus. You can just walk 5-10 minutes before class starts. So, be on campus. And I'm standing right now in front of Baldwin, which is the one and only cafeteria in the Albion campus. It's exactly like 10 steps away from White House. It is 10-20 steps. So, what's really nice is I wake up in the morning and just roll out of bed and go to Baldwin right after. So that is really cool. Let's work here at Baldwin, and here's a message for you guys.
All right, hi, my name is Pete Hopkins. I'm a service supervisor here at Baldwin Cafe. I make sure that you have the best experience possible when you come in here. Make sure all of our food is looking presentable and tasting even better. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you step foot in our cafe.
Are you guys ready for the most important building on campus? The most interconnected network of a building that is here, that is Albion. That is Kellogg Center. Well, this is where all the students show up to have fun, get together, laugh, and be part of a group, and just do whatever. So, we'll show you guys around a little inside. This white building over here is Vogel Hall, and this is where you'll have your orientation, and this is also where Deborah and Sherry, our international directors, work at. So I'll show you, and I'm actually gonna come uninvited, so let's see what they have to say. Hello. So, nice student coffee hour. Say hello, people.
Show more beautiful cupcakes over there.
It's been a long day. Alright, so we are headed towards the down. This is my friend Sai. So it's night compared to the daylight shots.
Hi everyone, my name is Lukman. I'm so excited that you received your admission to Albion College. I'm the person who has read all of your essays and your recommendation letters, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing you on campus. So I want to wish you every best of luck, and I hope to see you on campus.
Quad, this is what we call that. The right. Lukman! You're on camera. What do you want to say? Oh, you're on the phone. Oh, snap. Okay.
Like busy, you know.
be able to start a season like this and swim a 5K with my teammates, you know, hundreds of miles away, it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool experience.
One of the things that we want to continue to do in this program, you know, when you look back and reflect on your experience, we want to make sure that it's positive. And sometimes that's in the pool, sometimes that's in a lake. And you know, I think some of the great stories too, you know, with great friendships that you have, especially with you know, a group that's as close as ours, you know, are just kind of some of the random things.
It's really exciting. The fact that we're the first girls team that gets to go is very cool. It's a fun way to stay motivated to train throughout the summer and to have something to look forward to right when you get back to campus. To be in the water with everyone going to this meet is going to be really exciting.
There's no walls in a lake. There's no opportunity for push-offs or streamlines. Mac and I will get in and swim where there's no lane lines in an open water type field. You know, it's a lot different when you're in the water in a lake for over an hour just swimming. It's different, but it's a rewarding experience.
It's very different. The fact that you don't have a set course you're going on, you have to make sure you spot, or you could be swimming an extra mile off the side. It's very hard. It's just very different, the fact that you're not in a pool going straight. You're turning, you're curving, but it's definitely interesting and more fun, I think, to do that.
I feel close with all my teammates, but I felt like there was always that kind of special bond, having trained and put forth all this effort before season, going into that meet, and then being there to kind of root for each other the rest of the way. And then having one of those teammates be my sister, I feel like that's a really cool experience. Having those teammates there with me really makes it worthwhile.
It's really exciting to be with him. It's his senior year, and so it's very cool to have kind of this one last thing that we get to share together.
I think the thing that makes this event unique is, you know, you've got to qualify for it. You know, Kyle and Mac and Sebastian Tostado had just a great experience out there. It brought them together early in the year. Even in the preseason, the three of them got together and trained and worked hard and were focused on it. The experience that those guys had really generated a lot of interest for, you know, a lot of the other people on the team to want to go to this meet.
The seasons are long, but you only have so many of them. Getting a little sentimental going into my senior year, but definitely it's a unique experience and one that you don't get to do over the course of a normal season.
And I think that's exciting. I mean, I think it's a testament to the experience that the three guys that we sent out last year had, you know, as well as the commitment to the distance program that we have here at the college.
It's a cool stage to swim on.
To go in with a positive attitude and just get excited to try to represent my team well and have fun.
There will be more competition D3-wise, but definitely the expectation is to still be at the top, Mac and I both, and our teammates as well.
The development of the program is ongoing and constant.
We are cleaning up the grounds. There's many gravestones that are tipped over or cracked or buried under years of debris. So we've been picking up sticks and pulling weeds, making it look a lot cleaner, as well as uncovering some graves that probably haven't been seen for 50 years or so. So it's been really emotional experience to be able to see some of these graves that haven't been seen in so long, and hopefully get them seen again by family or just anybody passing through.
We can't go back and stop the Holocaust from happening, but we can try and fight against the lasting effects of it, and trying to make sure that these people are remembered and they're cared for, because their families are, some of them may not be around anymore to take care of these graves. So it's very important that just because someone did something awful, that we will not allow that to continue to have an impact on these people.
Even though this is something very small, we're undoing some of the hate and fighting against hate and anti-Semitism that was why this was destroyed.
It gives us a chance to honor those who were affected by the Holocaust. A lot of these people actually died before the Holocaust, and their families may not be able or never got the chance to be able to come here and care for their graves. And a lot of the destruction that happened, it's giving us students a chance to fight against the acts of the Holocaust, and I think that's the most important part.
I became interested in this program because it seemed like a great opportunity. I know a couple of students who were in my sorority who had talked about this program, and whenever they talked about it, they said it was by far their favorite experience at Albion and wanted to try it out.
I think that this program is just completely incredible, and its ability to try and reshape people's minds and show people the human side of the Holocaust and see that while we're not dealing with actual victims here, we're dealing with people that lost the ability to have someone to care for them because of the Holocaust. And the ability to do something against hate and prejudice, to make sure that these people are not lost to the sands of time, is something I think that is really inspiring and something that more people should do.
I'm also a science major in pre-med, and I have to take a lot of hard classes, and just being able to go into the practice room and just take out all my stress on the piano is really a great feeling.
Music and the music department as a whole has been so important to me because that's where my family is. People like me coming together and creating something that's more than us, something that's so beautiful and so important to us that it just sort of transcends everything else that we do.
Everyone, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak, you can understand whether I'm playing like a melodious piece or whether I'm playing an angry piece, you know, music is universal.
I came from a very traditional family, very musical all the way through. I sang in choirs in church all the way through high school. My parents loved opera, and so they would take me and my two older brothers to the opera. And I loved that aspect of music because it was not only singing, but it was dancing, it was everything all combined into one.
Well, our first gifts were very small, but eventually we started giving more and just kept stepping it up whenever we could. We saw our gifts being used and utilized in a proper and in a moral, ethical way. And so we were encouraged to keep giving more. We started thinking, what are the things that are missing on the Albion College campus that we could try to get to come in to increase the enrollment and increase the experiences of the students that are there.
Anything to get the music department out of the basement of the chapel is a good idea. To have a music building and a special place that they can call their home should make for a much more interesting adventure to a lot of young people.
I walked out of the chapel steps today as we come out of the basement, and I'm standing in front of my band, you know, my friends, my family, and I said, I want nothing more than for people to be able to see us, for people to appreciate everything we've put in.
I think a new music facility will be such a huge improvement and will be so beneficial to not just the music department, but to the college as a whole.
The more we thought about it, we said, you know, it makes sense because music is the language of the universe, so why not go with the music? The choice that the campus helped us with was a good one.
We would encourage others to give back to Albion as we have, because it has enriched our lives.
Music is such a discipline that you have to be a determined person. You have to be very diligent. You have to practice your instrument and hone your craft every single day. And that kind of work ethic goes over to my business studies. It goes over to French and Spanish. It goes over to my jobs. It allows me to work harder and become a more well-rounded student. So music indirectly impacts everything else that I do here at Albion.
So the music building is a special gift that we thought would be really a needed thing for the campus and for the students. It's not for us, it's for them.
My name is Dan Musser. I graduated from Albion College in 1986, and I'm president of Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. My career path here at the hotel really started when I was about 13 years old, and I worked for our butcher in the butcher shop. And I think the first day I cleaned out like 1,000 chickens and vowed never eat one ever again. But the light bulb that went off in me in this business was we used to have what's called a chef's table in the kitchen, where the whole staff would sit down about 4:30 in the afternoon and have dinner, family style, and you sat according to your position. So the chef with his big hat would sit at one end, and the pot washers would sit at the far end, and that's where I sat for the summer. And by the time the food got to the end of the table, let's just say I ate a lot of green beans that summer. What I got to know were people from different walks of life that I had yet to ever meet or imagine being in their shoes. And it changed, it kind of, like I said, it was a light bulb moment for me. I think it's best to try to do something you love, and I love this place, so I was fortunate enough to start right after college and haven't left. I've been fortunate to have a number of alumni work for us and gone on to different careers or in the hospitality field, but use this as a launching pad to that, which is great. I've worked hard to promote tourism on Mackinac Island. I started our first Conventions Visitors Bureau a number of years ago. I've also been part of the Pure Michigan ad campaign. I was fortunate enough to be appointed by 2 different governors to the Travel Commission to help form what's become the Pure Michigan campaign, and then gives us credibility here on Mackinac Island in a national setting that we could never afford or touch. And so those are a few of the things I've tried to do to promote tourism on Mackinac and for the hotel and the island and the region. A number of years ago, my mom and I helped start the Mackinac Community Foundation that now has a little more than $10 million at market, and generally we spend about 5% of that. And you imagine that's a big chunk to put back into this smaller community. Most of it helping the year-round residents, which is phenomenal. Grand Getaway started, quite frankly, with the downturn, which affected all of us, the college, Albion College, and Grand Hotel. We had rooms to sell, and at the time, we all thought, I was a trustee at the time, thought it might be a good way to kind of bring the troops in and to remind us all of the great experience we had at Albion and what it's helped us in our later life.
My name is Anna Lewis. I'm a sophomore here at Albion College, graduating in the year of 2020. I'm a biology major and a psychology minor, and I am the recipient of the Grand Getaway Scholarship.
The scholarship program has touched me personally because of the many letters I receive each year from the recipients. They all have a common theme of, but for this and a few other lucky things that have happened in their life, they wouldn't have been at Albion. And all of them are just ecstatic about the opportunity to be there and experience the Albion experience, and I think that is the great thing about it.
As of right now, by my freshman year of college, I've received a pre-acceptance to Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. After my 4 years here at Albion, I will continue on to medical school right away, and I would love to become an orthopedic surgeon one day.
Well, I think philanthropy is a key part of a meaningful life, and Albion helped me discover that, I believe, in that helping others in any way is not only, it's warming, but I think also a moral and I think a Christian obligation.
Through this scholarship, I can continue to do the things I love here at Albion College. I'm a member of the Institute for Healthcare Professions, a member of the Alpha Chi Omega Beta chapter, and I'm also a psychology tutor here at school. I can help to continue give to the community and to other people through my knowledge, but I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't able to be here.
And Albion helped me realize that there is a moral contract that those of us are fortunate enough to have these wonderful educational and life experiences like Albion College provides, that we should do something like that. And like the scholarship, I really feel I'm more warmed by it and enriched in a way. I can't say more than the recipients, but I think as much.
And we're back here at Olivet College as we try to finish this whole thing out. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in this football game when we had lightning in the area and a 30-minute delay, and now both teams on the field. And we're probably within 5 minutes from finishing this thing off. When we resume play, it will be Olivet football. They will have the ball on the 15-yard line. It will be 4th down and 6. And, you know, we've speculated as to what the play calling might be.
We've had a lot of time, Jim, to go back and forth.
And we have.
We've argued feverishly during the 30-minute break as to what the Comets would do with this 4th down decision.
And you have lobbied hard for?
I'm going to choose to just take a knee.
There you go.
No, they'll probably end up going for it. If I were the kicker, though, I would have used all 30 minutes. Change cleats, change jerseys, do anything you need to do to convince the coach. Things are different.
Give me a shot, man. Just give me one shot.
A new long snapper in there, get a new holder. Just let me try it one time.
Just sit one upright for me and let me hit it there today. That's all you're after.
You know, the missed opportunities they've had with the long snapper field goal exchange have not been on the kicker. The kicker hasn't had an opportunity to kick the ball.
Yeah, not at all.
They've been bad snaps, usually low, and they've had to adjust based on that. And the Britons did take advantage with one of those low snaps. Comets tried to roll out right and throw the ball. Didn't get enough on it. Might have slipped out of the holder's hand. And then it was returned for a 2-point conversion. Was the only 2 points the Britons scored in the second half until just recently. But still a 3-touchdown edge for Olivet with just under 3 minutes to play. And as Jim mentioned, it will be a 4th and 6 inside the red zone for the Comets. You know, whether they get the first down, kick a field goal, you know, whatever. I don't know that the game is in doubt at this point. Yeah. You know, down 3 scores, and all 3 timeouts, I guess, actually in the second half here for the Brits, but a lot of work to do.
Well, and again, speculating up here in the booth, we talked to some of the folks who were on the field at the time when the conversation was going on, and the conversation was centered on, do we just call this one a day? And obviously Coach Rundle, being the long-standing old-time football coach, doesn't ever like to walk away from a challenge, you know what I mean? It's not like you can just walk away when you're in real life, and his decision was, you know what, we've got 2:53 to play in the ball game. I don't want my kids thinking they're going to be able to quit here this afternoon. We're going to go in, dry off a little bit, and we'll come in and at least finish this thing no matter what happens in the last 3 minutes of this football game. So the decision was made by both coaches at that time to do exactly that. I would think we have run the vast majority of this crowd off here this afternoon, and we will finish this one out by ourselves pretty much here at Olivet.
I'm hoping you didn't leave the windows cracked.
Oh man, the sunroof was open probably right now in the car, and when we go down to get in that car, there's going to be nothing but a tidal wave coming at us here.
There's going to be maybe 3 or 4 different species of fish inside the car, and I'm not going to enjoy the ride home if that's the case.
Again, Olivet real happy to get this thing rolling again. They're in the possession of a 47-26 game, so they're, as we said earlier in the ball game, they didn't even notice the rain was in existence this afternoon. And the Britons, I'm sure, will be relatively happy to get on a bus and get back to the drier confines, even though Albion, they say, is raining pretty hard at this point in time back in our home territory as well. The 6 o'clock game between Adrian and Hope was moved up to 4 o'clock here this afternoon, so we'll actually be able to get you a game score and summary maybe a little bit on that one before we get out of here, as they will be in the first quarter and playing football by the time we leave here this afternoon. And again, at the end of the football game, we'll wrap things up quickly, give you the final stats, and get you back out on your way as well. And with that, we've got football teams on the field, and we're ready to play this fourth down. The Comets will line up in a traditional offensive set. 2 wide receivers to the top, 1 single receiver here on the bottom side. A running back, and that is Jamal Martin, along with quarterback Lane Porter, who is in the pistol look, and it is fourth down now. And Porter going to throw the ball in the end zone, and just a little bit overthrown. And the incompletion will give the football back to the Britons on the turnover on down. So again, do you want to make me wait for a half an hour? Well, we're going to try to put another 6 up on that scoreboard on you just because of that.
Looking at the other scores in the conference, still 8:12 to play in quarter number 3 at Aurora. They lead Alma 19-13. And the aforementioned Adrian at Hope game, 3-0 Hope, 4:14 to play, quarter number 1.
So an interesting situation as the Britons now have the football at least one more time. That pass was thrown for number 85, and 85 in the program is Nick Thomas, a junior tight end, just a little bit overthrown. So Britons have the football, first down and 10, 2.5 minutes to play in this ball game. Blanzy again at a quarterback, and he'll drop back to throw, looking to go deep, and he's got a good ball being thrown to Koski, who tried to work his way around the defensive back of the midfield stripe, and the ball just a little bit too far in front of him to pull that one in, so it'll be second down as the clock stops with 2:24 now to play in this football game.
Billy Kirkendall, number 5 in coverage right there. And just kind of getting in the way of the receiver. Didn't really have to do much more on that play. Just kind of get in the way, keep him from even being able to make a play on the ball. Brings up second and 10.
Elverson Mitchell is the running back to the right of Blanzy, who's in the pistol look, and he'll hand it to Mitchell, and Mitchell will get back to the line of scrimmage, and then his forward progress slowed, and they'll say he actually only got to the 14. He'll lose a yard, and that will move the clock closer to the 000s that everybody here in the rain at Olivet are hoping for. In fact, Britain's coaching staff mostly on the sideline right now. The coaches up in the booth here at this point in time have evacuated their nice warm spot, and they're down out in the rain with everybody else on the Britain sideline. Blanzy drops. He's going to throw this one deep. He's got Sykes. Sykes has the football, but did he bring it all the way to the ground? No, he didn't. He did catch it, but he was out of bounds. Nice catch by Tyler Sykes.
Up close, Jim.
Right in front of us here at the 45-yard line, and you're right. It was very close to being a catch.
Official obviously right there on the spot, seeing those feet slide out of bounds as it brings up a fourth down, and now we have a 30-minute delay to see the Britons punt. It's a little bit of a letdown, isn't it?
Britain's at the goal line right now is where Blanzy will kick this away. Johnson back at the midfield stripe waiting on this kick. Minute and 44 to play in the ball game. Good snap, no rush, nice high booming kick. Driving back, and the ball will take a Britain's bounce and just absolutely stop at the 47-yard line.
Didn't bounce much, did it?
No, it didn't. I thought it was going to hit and roll the right direction, and it just checked up like a nice little chip shot.
So you have to think that they're going to just take a knee here?
I would hope so. It's a minute 34 to go. Both teams with plenty of timeouts. Olivet with 2, Britons with 3. Neither team needs to use them at this point in time. We just need to take a knee or two and call it an afternoon here in Olivet. Everybody head to the house and get ready for the Alma game coming up next week from Albion. Clock is set and will be started here in a second. And Olivet with their first team offense back on the field. They'll work out of the pistol again as Lane Porter, I would think, is going to catch this ball and just hand it off. He does to Martin, Martin will lower his shoulders, head across the 50 into Britain's territory at the 48. And the clock now has an opportunity to roll pretty close down to 0 as they reset the play clock, and we'll be down somewhere less than 30 seconds by the time they get done with this one. So they'll run this play, probably have to let it run out after that one, and this ball game should be in the books. 1:04, Olivet taking their time. I think I saw some lightning right there.
No, you didn't.
But we just need to
No, you didn't.
just to keep that clock rolling and get everybody out of here. I saw something blink.
No, that was somebody with a Polaroid over there, Jim.
There you go.
Somebody with a large flash.
We're not going to the sideline one more time, are we? Everybody's going over to talk to the coaches. It did blink out here. There's no doubt about that. But I think at this point in time, we just need to give it an end.
Yep,
I think that's going to be it.
Clock.
All right.
Now we high five.
51 seconds. It's now time to high five. They will not end the last 51 seconds of this game because of the lightning. But we'll call it a day here in Olivet. Britons will fall by 21 this afternoon, 47-26, in a ball game that was a lot closer than that in the first half. And then Britons' offense just sputtered all second half, and the defense did not really do a good job of slowing the Olivet Comets down, and this one goes into the books as a loss for the Britons. And the live stats go away, and we're going to go away as well. Olivet will now go to 4-2 overall, and the Britons will go to 1-5 on the season, as we are about to sign off here from Olivet this afternoon. We will have a ball game coming up next week at the home confines there at Sprinkle Sprandel Stadium back at Albion College. And now the stats back up. And Jimmy, let's run through just the basic general stats and then some individual stats, and then we'll put a bow on this thing and head home.
Olivet 539 total yards, 232 through the air, 307 on the ground, 34 minutes and change, almost 35 minutes time of possession. Albion College 324 total yards, 146 through the air, 178 on the ground, pretty good mix. Only 24-19 time of possession. Game was dominated by big plays. Lane Porter 11 of 17, 232, 3 touchdowns, including 2 long ones to Jacob Jodway, 3 catches for 165, and Cornelius Saxton did not, unfortunately, reach his milestone achievement today. He finishes the game with 5 catches for 61 yards. He's still 11 yards short, I believe, of either tying or setting the record, so we'll say he needs 12 to set it. For the Britons, Kyle Thomas 9 of 17 for 141 and a touch. Second half, though, relatively ineffective, was replaced by Sam Blanzy. Blanzy only goes 1 of 10 for 5 yards, so definitely room for improvement in the quarterback position for the Britons. Zarnecki 15 carries for 100 yards. Thomas also carried it 14 for 64. And through the air, Brian Belanzi leads the team, 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown in what was a relatively forgettable second half for the Britons, Jim.
Britons fall this afternoon 47-26. That'll wrap it up for us here on the Britain Sports Network on a Saturday afternoon. We will be back home here next week. I understand that our ark is awaiting us, guys, underneath the stadium right now. And with that, Jimmy, I'll let you take us on home.
For complete details on today's game, as well as all other news and notes on the Britons Fall Sports, visit GoBrits.com. Our thanks to Ken Reeker for doing the production duties today of this audio-only broadcast. Jim and Jim appreciating everyone here at Olivet for their hospitality. And thank you very much for making today's broadcast possible. And folks at home, thank you as always for watching and listening to the Britain Sports Network. Have a good evening, everybody.